You are now entering a dangerous liberty zone where God-given natural rights are held sacred and exercised. This is your warning. Tyranny, fascism, and censorship will not be tolerated. Ideas will be exchanged freely. Rigorous debate and open discourse is encouraged. If you are weak and your beliefs are fragile, you should leave now. Prepare yourself. We are now live on the Dangerous Liberty Podcast. What is happening, everybody? Happy Thursday. Welcome to another great episode of the Dangerous Liberty Podcast. We got a lot to cover, I guess. We'll see. We're going to see what Candace has in store for us today. I was hell-bent on not doing another, at least for a while, covering one of her live streams. And then I've gotten, every time I don't, I get emails, comments in the comment section. Gary, what happened? I was hoping you were going to cover this. Anyway, so we're going to do this today and we're going to have some fun with it. We're definitely in casual Thursday. Actually, I didn't feel like combing my hair, so I'm wearing a hat today. So we're just going to have some fun today. Make fun of Candace. That's what we're really going to do. I am going to write down any of her lies and all the things that we normally do. We do have LIsaKnows. She will be coming on. I called her up. I was like, Lisa, look, we're going to do a live stream today. I'm not doing it by myself. Either you come on or I'm just not doing it. I can't handle it. But I want to say hi to everybody over in the chat. We got iRule 2530. We got Yelena Makanova. I don't know if I've seen you before, but I see that you remember, Yelena. And if I missed you in the past, I apologize. Texas Motherbird 63. Magby VW. And many, many more. Cloudy PDX. Who else we got there? iRule and Lori Matthews. We always love Lori. There was a comment that I want to address here in just a second that I thought was interesting to see. Ruger Rouge, always good to see you. Kayla McDonald became a member, or she renewed. Thank you, Kayla. We appreciate you. Gary Shaver, always good to see you. Bart Curlish, hey, y'all from the free state of Florida. Good to see you, Bart. Sergeant Will, good to see you. Diane, Benjamin, and all of our other mods. Hey, look, I appreciate you guys, what you do. Cooking with the Wilsons and many more. If I missed you, I apologize. I see Appalachian American Avery, Debbie Blue, Love USA 595. So make sure you guys say hi. And look who's already here. Look who is already here. We got LIsaKnows in the house. Lisa, thanks for coming on.
Hello.
I was just telling him, like, I called you and I said, if you don't come do this with me, I'm not doing it.
You're like, I'm done. I'm tapped. I can't do no more.
It is such a mental and emotional suck from your soul to watch this drivel. And then, the biggest part about this is just the fact that it's so unconvincing, and yet, so many people are convinced about it. Speaking of which, and folks, if I haven't said so already, make sure you like, subscribe, all the things I'm supposed to tell you. What I really do appreciate too is if you become a member. It really does help support the channel. So make sure you go down in the description below, and there's a link there if you want to become a member. There's a couple different tiers. You can, I think it's starts at like $3 to $5 a month and then goes up from there. However you want to support us, we appreciate it. It goes a long way with this channel. Also on X. If you're on X, make sure you become number one, make sure you're following me. I put a lot of stuff out on X on a regular basis. And if you want to become a subscriber on X, same thing. So all those things help. And speaking of, down in the description below, if you're not following LIsaKnows, make sure you go follow her. Down in the description below is all the links to her socials. She's putting out a lot of great content. She's just a good, solid, truthful voice in the midst of madness. And I appreciate her, and I think you guys will too. Matter of fact, I know you will. So Lisa, how's your week been?
Good. Busy with all of the insanity that we are trying to cover all the time. I feel like it's nonstop. So I've actually seen a couple people be like, I need to take a break. Like, I need a mental health break. I'm like, I feel you. It's so easy to get there so quickly.
It is. It's exhausting. It really is. And if I didn't think, look, folks, I get that question all the time. Like, Gary, why are you doing this? And I know I've said it on here and I'm speaking to the choir, but I'm serious, folks. This is one of the biggest problems that I've ever seen in the United States. And I mean that. I mean, this is a existential threat to truth and just common sense. Like, if you can be tricked by her and the absolute zero amount of evidence that she's using to push this, then anybody in this country can be smeared. And I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't Erika Kirk, and it was, to be honest with you, look, even next week, if suddenly somebody started a information campaign against Candace, and come to find out all the stuff that was being said about Candace wasn't true, I would be out against it. I mean, the truth is the truth. And that's what we got to fight for in all of this. And I thought this comment was really interesting by Magby VW. I'm starting to get so disappointed in normal YouTubers joining the something just isn't right crowd. The reality is you can make something not feel right just through repetition and quantity, right? If every time I got in, and there's a lot of people out there that actually know my wife, but if every time I got on here, you don't know anything about my wife, and I said something derogatory about her, and then I would show, unflattering pictures of her, or just a little dribble of information, operations against her, negative information. Within a couple of weeks, she'd be like, "Man, Gary's wife is just terrible," and she's not. She's awesome. She's amazing. But we can create an image out of anybody, especially when they're not constantly pushing back or pushing back at all, which Erika really hasn't. And we just need to understand that. And that's what's happened. We've been inundated with this information, or people have put out information to create a narrative that, even if it doesn't exist, it exists now in the minds of so many, because that's how this works, So that's where we're at. I did want to throw up a quick tidbit of information I want to share with you guys real quick, that I think is also another real problem. Let me see which one of these. This one right here. What we have going on here on X, and I'll share this screen. Let me get rid of this comment. There's already a super chat. I'll address that in a second as well. This right here. All right, Britta, No Soup for Knowles, shared this little fact. And I commented on this. Baron Coleman is a total con artist and grifter, pushing exploding mics and lying about Erika and anyone he disagrees with. He's a propagandist exploiting Charlie Kirk's death. He also happens to be a lawyer, making a total mockery of the justice system. He should be getting ethics complaints filed with the Florida bar. He knows he's lying, and he's making a lot of money off of his con. So you can see on just this one, I don't know if this is just one episode, but looks like it. Regardless, I had one of our viewers and somebody that's a friend of mine share this bit of information with me as well. And just in the last 5 days, on super chats alone, 7 days, last 7 days, Baron Coleman made $12,455. $12,000 in a week just doing super chats and pushing absolute nonsense, lies. He is one of the most effective propagandists. And that's
so great. I wouldn't even know what to do with that amount of money. Like, what?
It is so much more profitable to push the stupidity. It really is. Like, it is so much more beneficial, folks. And I don't care if it was $100,000 a week.
I would be interested to see, since he's a lawyer, I would be interested to see if you can go in and see if people have reported anything against his law license, or like to the bar, the bar association or anything like that. Because what he's doing, I feel like, violates the I know that they don't take an oath like doctors do, but I think aren't attorneys, I mean, they have to follow specific guidelines and rules according to their licensing and things. So I would feel like what he's doing is definitely violating that.
It's highly unethical. And as a matter of fact, I had another lawyer that I talked to about him specifically. This person brought him up, and he's like, you know what? You could easily file an ethics complaint against him on his Florida bar, because, I mean, what he's doing, he's number one, he's undermining the justice system that he's supposedly a part of. And number two, he knows he's lying. He's lying like time and time again. He started off with this stupid Google Trends nonsense, pushing that. There's a whole lot, I've covered it multiple times, on why that is such a farce and just idiotic to begin with. And then on top of that, he's spread multiple lies about me. And, you know, it's definitively a lot. Like that's the weird thing. It's like you always wonder, or you don't always know when somebody like Barron or Candace or whatever else can't confirm 100% what's being said, or that they know something's a lie, or maybe they just are dumb and think these things. But when it happens to you and you know what's going on and you know the background information, you know what they're saying about you. And I've had conversations with Candace via DMs. Like, she knows her saying that I work for TPUSA or that Erika hired me. She knows that's a complete and utter lie. And yet she continues to push it. And the same thing that Baron Coleman and many others are doing. But, that's where we're at in all this. Thank you both for standing what's right. We appreciate you, Slayer Princess out there snapping necks, cashing checks, just like another normal Thursday for her. Can't join tonight, brother, but wanted to support you nonetheless. God bless. Dr. Altoids, we always appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. I'd like to know your honest opinion about the way Nate at Valhalla has gone off the rails and is just jumping all over the place with some of the craziness. You're not going to hear that from me. And he's part of the regiment. So for good, bad, or indifferent, I'm just going to stay quiet about that. Look, you guys know what I think. You can compare and contrast to what he thinks, and then you can form your own opinion on that. I mean, I'll just say it like that. Out of respect for his service and the fact that we are in the same regiment, all you got to do is take a look at what I'm saying, and you can take a look at what he's saying, and you know where I stand on it. I don't know what to say. And I know a lot of people keep coming at me with this. It'd be a different story if he didn't wear a green hat and he didn't like, we literally came from the same battalion. He was after me, but that's where I'm at on that. I'm just not going to talk bad about him. Thank you, Gary, for letting me help mod. I can't do much to contribute financially, so helping in this way makes me feel like I'm doing. You are, Ben. Ben, you've been a great support. You and I have talked via email, via phone calls. Anytime something's going on, you've been there to support us. So we appreciate you, Ben, as well as all the other mods. You guys are great. You're very appreciated what you do. And I know it's a thankless job. And matter of fact, everybody gets mad at you. And you're just trying to follow my guidance. So what you do is extremely appreciated. Lisa, what is new this week? Anything?
Yeah, so we have, I'm sure you've seen it. It's the photo that I don't even know how it got started originally. Well, no, Candace. Well, she posted it, but I don't know where she got it from. It was from Erika's old Instagram account, I believe. The one of the little girl with the Romanian angel stuff. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Yep. So that's circulating. They're now trying to use this to connect to the whole sex trafficking thing, which is just absolutely ridiculous. If you have the photo and you can pull it up, we can show it. But
yeah, here we go. I will share this.
So yeah, so she shared this. Obviously, whoever it is that she was tagging there, she's blocked that person's name out. That's kind of weird to me. I'm not exactly sure why she did that. Unless she was just tagging, she might have been tagging the organization itself. I'm not 100% sure. We don't know who she's tagging there. Again, Candace blocked it out, so you can't tell what it says. And then it looks like it just says, can you read it? Because I can't read that. It's really tiny on my screen.
Yeah, it just says, I have something special for you, very special. That's what the photo says. And then Candace says, if you're still pretending all of this is normal, you're embarrassing. Today on the show, we tackle what went down in Romania. Were the TikTokers right from the beginning, or is Erika just misunderstood? Episode 5, what happened in Romania? And I have not watched that episode. So I don't know what went down, but I heard it was another nothing burger.
So from what we do know, Romanian Angels was essentially kind of, if you've ever heard of Angel Tree, that the Salvation does every Christmas, where you pick a child off of the tree. It gives you the child's gender, their age, and some of the toys or items that child would want/need, right? And basically you go shopping for that child. You pick those items and then you give them to the Salvation Army, and they connect it back to the family that needs it. This is the same concept that she was doing with Romanian Angels. They were getting assigned a child, they were shopping for that child, and then the Marines was helping to facilitate getting those items over to Romania to the children in these orphanages that they worked with. And if you look at this photo, what does she have her hand in?
A box.
A box. And what is in that box? We can see that there are toys in that box. In fact, she has taken a stuffed animal off and put it around her neck. So literally, this child is opening one of the gift boxes that Romanian Angels has brought that has the toy donations in it. And it looks like she is in the process of opening this box and getting these toys. And she's literally saying, I have a special gift for you, just for you, or whatever she says in the caption there. It is literally the most straightforward thing that you could like. It's not even funny how straightforward this is, guys. But yeah, according to Candace, if you look at this and think that this is normal, and I'm just like, she's literally opening the toys that they got for her, and literally Erika literally tags Romanian Angels right there in the post. So what?
You have to have quite the imagination to come up and try to create some sort of scenario where this is like super nefarious or whatever else. You know, which has never stopped her. I'm curious. I wonder if, like, you know, this was a kid that was picked from a picture that this person was sponsoring. And
yeah, then, maybe.
You know, I don't know. We don't know, but it would be irresponsible to take this picture. I don't care if it's somebody you hated or not. I don't care if even this was, well, you know what, I'm not going to say that. But the point is if you take this and turn it into something without any additional evidence whatsoever, you're just being dishonest. There's no way around it.
Yeah, I mean, if you read that caption from the perspective of she just gave this child a literal gift, like she's opening a box of toys, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I don't know. It takes nothing. It just takes an insinuation from Candace to her followers to believe that, you know, it's going to be something crazy. So I'm just looking over here. Apparently we got 12 minutes before this actually starts. She starts every day a little later and later. I actually started at 5:45 thinking we'd have some buffer time in there, but she's starting 6:15. It's hard to get all those facts straight and to compile all that evidence. I always like looking over here at the comments. And a lot of them are just gibberish, which also
I think it's bots. Yeah,
I agree. That's my point. It's just half of this is gibberish. Go Max, Candace. I think Barron is right. They didn't dare just rely on a single method to take out Charlie. Way too many mixed clues. So, you know, basically what Barron, last time I checked, he was saying was the exploding mic and the handheld microphone was going to electrocute him as well. They just come up with something new and creative. And then once that gets they run out of content for that, they recycle something new. Right now, Wolves and Finances is going back to the palm gun theory and trying to say that Rick Cutler killed Charlie. God, I hope these people get sued. I mean, they should just get sued to infinity and beyond. The Bradford Exchange became a new member. Thank you very much, man. Cooking with Wilsons. If other people are involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination, wouldn't they need to wait for a guilty verdict of Tyler R to charge them? No, they would not. They would not need to wait for a guilty verdict of Tyler to charge them. So
they wouldn't need to wait for a guilty verdict, but it is standard within our system that usually you go after the main culprit first, and then any connected people will follow, because the charges against that person sets a precedent for the other people's trials, right? And that evidence can be used in the other people's trials. Also, sometimes they can get the other people to use certain plea bargains to turn on the other person because they want to go after the big fish usually. So typically, yeah, you're going to go after the big fish first, and then any smaller dominoes are going to fall after that is typically how it goes. I think that's kind of what they were asking, but
they may have other people.
Yes.
That they have charged. Maybe even Lance Twiggs has been charged, and they've cut some sort of plea deal to testify. I don't know. We need to get Andrea back on here and talk about some of those things. But so far as what has been released to the public, I don't think anyone else has been charged with that.
Yep.
I can tell you with a high level of certainty that they are looking into other foreign involvement and all the things that somebody contacted me that does have close ties with government. I can tell you that a couple of things are being looked into. Number one, the bot activity that's pushing Candace. Number two, and this person, take this as hearsay, all right? I saw no confirmation. I just trust this person. And unlike somebody, I will tell you that you got to accept it as that, right? So, but that is being looked into, and that is a real thing that's happening now. And I can tell you there are foreign countries involved with that, and of course they would. Like, that's just common sense. When you have something that, like what we have, a narrative that essentially directly links or indirectly links the administration itself to Charlie Kirk's assassination, that will divide the Republican vote, that will, if you get enough of this information out there, it will suppress the vote. That's what, I mean, people are going to hijack that. People are going to exploit that, and especially foreign countries that don't want President Trump in office, which is really every country out there. There's no other foreign country that is 100% on Trump's side, except for maybe Venezuela right now. So that's where we're at on that. Speaking of which, the other story that I did want to bring to everyone's attention, at least, there's a lot of things that I don't like about Nick Fuentes. Pretty much everything. Well, that's not even true either. Like, there's some things that he says that I agree with. With that being said, there's a lot of things that he says that I don't agree with, and this is going to be one of them. And I'll share this screen with you. Nick Fuentes says, "I'm voting Democrat in 2026 because white people can play both sides too. The GOP broke every single promise: Epstein file cover-up, regime change, war, in Iran, and no mass deportations." Number one, we do have mass deportations going on. They're not at the levels that I would like, but to say that we don't have mass deportations taking place, I think is being dishonest. The GOP must be purged and burned to the ground in 26. Hostile takeover in 28. There is not going to be a hostile takeover in 28. And I wrote right here, there it is, because voting Democrat will make all the Democrat caused problems easier to fix. Makes total sense. Or it's all a psyop to stop Trump, MAGA, and the conservative movement. If you follow this moron or anyone in the hate Israel first crowd, we'll lose our country forever. There is nothing that's going to happen if the Democrats take the midterms. What's going to happen is you're going to be left with a 2-year lame duck President Trump that's not going to get anything done. Just that's how the system works. And then the Democrats are going to run on that. And all of us Republicans are going to be upset, disillusioned, and disenchanted that we didn't get anything done for 2 years. And then on top of that, Trump is probably going to be impeached again, almost certainly.
I was going to say they've already said that they have articles of impeachment written up and ready to go. If they take over in the midterms, like, they've already said that is their thing and that's what they're going to be running with. So we will be doing that song and dance all over again.
and they're going to be able to characterize the last 2 years of his presidency as, he's basically a feckless president, which, I mean, just based on the system itself is not exactly wrong. But the point is if they win the midterms, almost certainly they're going to win 2028. And if that happens, we're going to have Biden 2.0 all over again. Our country is going to go back to open borders. All the good things that President Trump has done, which, by the way, is a lot. Like, the things that this president has been able to accomplish in 1 year is more than most presidents accomplish an entire term, by a lot. So it's going to undo all that. And then on top of that, we're going to get all of these Democrats back into the federal government, embedded in the federal government, and all the problems that we have are going to be that much worse. And it's not like, Nick keeps talking about the Democrats going to take over, and then the right is just going to be so upset about this that we're going to have, I don't know, some sort of revolution. But that's not what's going to happen, folks. It's not going to happen. I don't know what Nick's, motivations are. I don't think he's a Republican. Quite frankly, I just think he's a petulant child. I mean, nothing more. And that's what a lot of these people suffer from. And they hate Israel so much that is what they are. First and foremost, it's hate Israel first. That's all that matters. And let's burn this country down until we stop liking Israel. And it's not going to get anything done. Not going to get anything done at all. GS 70 Stealth. I do agree with Nick when he calls out Candace, but not politically. Yeah. And even that, it's like, I'm not. Look, here's what I think. Based on some information that I have, I think China and Russia are probably the two biggest perpetuators and behind the scenes financiers of all of this stuff that's going on. I really do. And I think they're the ones behind the big bot push. They're the ones behind, and you don't even have to coordinate with people like Nick Fuentes. You don't have to coordinate with people like Candace directly or anything else. What you do is when they say something, you make sure if it's something that, like, if she says something I liked, I make sure there's a bunch of money dumped into promoting what she said, that particular thing, and then she gets the gratification, she gets the feedback to continue to say those things. So this doesn't have to be some conspiracy where people are getting together on phone calls and in dark rooms and saying, hey, Candace, I'm with the Kremlin. I want you to do X, Y, and Z. Or, hey, I'm with China, from China. We want you to do this to take down the Trump administration, take down America, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be that complicated. All you got to do is put a bunch of money behind people like Baron Coleman, behind people like Candace, and just trick all the lemmings that are out there. And with the amount of people that are supporting, forget about the bots. You take a few million people that are real people that are supporting what Candace is saying and what Baron Coleman is saying, what Ian Carroll is saying, Ryan Mata is saying. All of these people, all you got to do is get them to stay home and not go vote. And the left will win the midterms. Like we are winning or losing by such small margins, it doesn't take much. And our foreign adversaries understand this completely. And we don't. We sit back and think, oh, let's just ignore Candace. It won't matter. Like, she'll go away. People will wake up. It's not what happens, folks. They're having a bigger impact than you think. And then that impact has greater consequences than we all realize. We're on the verge of losing this country. And I mean that. I genuinely believe that. And the only thing, look, Trump administration is not perfect. No administration that we support is going to be perfect, but it is definitely the lesser of two evils. And by the way, I will say I still believe that, just objectively speaking on what's been done in the first year, this is one of the most pro-American, best administrations that I've ever seen. And they want to make a big deal out about the Epstein files and all these things that Trump didn't even run on. He talked about them in interviews, but that wasn't on his platform. And I mean, have you looked into the Epstein files, Lisa? Like, what's your thoughts on the Epstein files?
I did. Not a ton, just because I mentally couldn't do too much of it. But the thing that I was looking at it from was like the abortion position, because obviously that's what my background is in, which was interesting. It was mentioned over 300 times. And we actively see him forcing people to have abortions and taking girls to get abortions. And we have one guy saying, like,
sorry, I was reading a comment when who'd you say that what was the name that you stated?
I didn't say a name. I just said that, like, he was involved in all of that. And I just think it's funny that.
Who is he? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, Epstein.
Okay. Epstein. Yeah.
Yeah, that Epstein was involved in all that. It's just funny because all these people that were like freaking out about the Epstein files are like rabidly pro-choice. And I'm just like, you do know that if you're supporting abortion, you're supporting the very people that are like funding and fueling all of this. Like, multiple of his emails was about Roe v. Wade getting overturned and how scared he was that if that ever happened, because then he can't funnel those girls to get their problem taken care of, right? And I'm just like, this same like deviancy, this sexual deviancy that you're seeing, and like that level of depravity and evil, and like, again, we're talking about people like eating babies and doing like the most horrific abuses to women and children that we could ever imagine. Yeah, abortion funds and fuels a lot of that, guys. And a lot of these clinics don't report abuse. They will actively keep taking a girl from her abuser or her trafficker because they're just making money, and they just want to keep making money. So they'll just keep letting them bring her in over and over and over again. And so anyway, that was one of the things that I thought was interesting about it. But yeah, I mean, we've known that this kind of stuff has gone on for a very, very long time. Unfortunately, like it's just confirming what we already kind of knew, right? So at the end of the day, I do think it's funny that they still keep trying to connect Trump to all of that, which it's been more than shown, like amply shown, that he was not involved in any of this. In fact, he was one of the people that like turned the guy in. But yeah, I mean, let's just keep running that train, I guess.
Yeah, and my biggest problem with all of it is like there's no actual evidence. There's nothing that you can take from the Epstein files, hand to a prosecutor and say, hey, take this in front of a grand jury and get an indictment. Like they're just not. And we have no idea. We have no idea who has manipulated those files. We don't know where those stories came from half the time. We don't know the authenticity of some of these stories. We had the Biden administration sitting on that for at least 4 years, going all the way back to Obama. Like we don't know, has things been taken out to cover for people, and has inauthentic things been added to attempt to damage people? Like I think the whole thing at this point can be just, the only thing you can do is say, hey, look, this is a psyop. This is some misinformation. I do think that there has been a few indictments via the Epstein files from Pam Bondi. I pulled that story up the other day. So there are some things that are actionable within it. But
yeah, and I mean, and outside of the US, we saw that the UK, they took Andrew, right? They arrested him. They've stripped him of all of his royal titles, all of the things. So other countries are doing things as well. Now, would I love to see him come and talk to Congress because he's been requested to come? Yes, I would love to see him do that. But at the end of the day, he's not a U.S. citizen, so he doesn't have to respond to a subpoena from Congress the way that an American citizen would, right? So he doesn't have to do that. Now, I think he's getting more pressure on the UK side to actually submit to that subpoena, though, which that would be interesting. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like there's so much of that was just like anonymous tips, and like you're seeing everything that has ever come in like to the FBI or, whatever. So like the majority of that we can't even take as credible or factual or anything. It's such a mess. And really, I think it's because the original case against him, what was it, back in 2008 when he was originally charged, was just, I don't think it was handled very well. And so at the end of the day,
Andrew or Epstein?
Epstein.
Yeah.
And so because that original case wasn't handled the greatest, I think that that's kind of the effect of what you're seeing now, unfortunately.
Yeah, and just so we're precise and accurate, Prince Andrew was actually charged on suspicion of misconduct in public office, and it relates to the allegation that he shared confidential trade reports and secrets with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. So even he's not being directly charged with anything within the Epstein files regarding, any sort of PDF things or even prostitution or anything along those lines. Basically, what they're alleging is that he gave a lot of insider information to Jeffrey Epstein, and that's what he's being accused of.
They literally have emails where Andrew would get certain classified information, because when the royal family is going to be moving from one location to another, there's obviously a lot of security around that, just like with our president and like their motions and where they're going and their travel plans and their schedules and all of that, right? And so basically Andrew would get a briefing on, hey, you're going to be here at this time. And he would immediately send an email to Epstein and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to be here at this time. So like we can meet up or whatever. Right. And at that point, he's giving classified information, which is dangerous to their security of their country, essentially is what they're saying. And I've seen some of those emails. So it's really funny too, how he would sign the email. Cause it's like what was it? A Knight of the Garter, something, like all of his title. And I'm like, yeah, because we don't know that that's you. Like, or his assistant would have her name on there and she's responding. And we're like, we know that this is your assistant. Like, he just didn't do a very good job of covering that up. But yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, those so far. And the other, when we look at what's I would say hard evidence of association is every single time that I've seen emails directly from Epstein to an official, those have been Democrats. And it's also the Democrats every single time, whether it's the Obama administration, Hillary Clinton herself, where they're also not only in direct communication, but they're using cryptic language when they're talking about hot dogs and burgers, when it doesn't even make sense to talk about hot dogs and burgers. I don't know if they did any pizza references. Everybody loves that. So, that's where we're at on this. Kelly Johnson, number one, thank you for your support. She says, my husband was a Green Beret. Unfortunately, he passed away at 36 in 2024. First and foremost, thank you for your service as a Army wife, and to your husband's service as well. I miss hearing his thoughts on things, but listening to you and your logic on this whole depravity with Candace is how I imagine he would feel. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Kelly. And God bless you and your family. And I'm very sorry to hear that. He was way too young.
Yeah.
If this is a rerun, I apologize. But if you had to assign a primary motive to what Candace is doing, what would it be? Love seeing your channel grow. Lisa, I'm going to give that to you first. I'm going to think about that. What do you think her motive is?
In honor of Erika Kirk, I'm eating Swedish candy. Just FYI. Gotta try some bubs. If you've never tried bubs, are the best thing ever. But anyway, I would say I think the biggest motive that definitely the anti-Semitism, the Jew hatred, everything with all of these individuals always seems to come back to that, which is, I don't think that that's a coincidence. We've been seeing this rising level of anti-Semitism all over the world since October 7th of 2022. They actually did a recent poll. One of the commissions on anti-Semitism and Jewish affairs, they actually did a recent poll, and 45% of adults said that they have negative feelings or views on Jews. 45% of the world. This is a global poll, by the way. That's insane. We're talking about 16 million, not even quite 16 million. The Jewish population is about 15.7 to 15.8 million people globally, Jews in the world. So you're talking about roughly 16 million people. That's a tiny percentage of population, yet almost half of adults globally have negative views or opinions of them. That's crazy. And again, that's just since October 7th. Like, that's nuts. So yeah, I would say that the Jew hate is definitely a part of this. And then as far as America specifically in our own country, I think that you hit the nail on the head earlier with the midterm stuff, dividing the MAGA movement, dividing the conservative movement, trying to convince people or sway people not to vote, and the political aspect of that. I think that that's all wrapped into it too, most definitely.
Yeah, the stuff that she's doing directly at TPUSA in Erika, I think, is just revenge. And then she gets to smuggle in all of those other things that you just talked about. I think those are a part of who Candace is. And that's going to get wrapped up into any narrative that she has to push. But I think this is so personal against TPUSA. And really, I think it's revenge against Charlie himself. I think she's still pissed off that he fired her and was extremely bitter about that. And that's what I think. I don't think it has to be that much more complicated. All these other things that she's wrapping into it is just out of convenience, that she gets to smuggle those narratives into it. The French, Israel. That's where I'm at on all this. And it's very petty, but
I don't even want to have to defend the French. I saw that they sided with China in all of this Iran stuff. So is Canada. And I'm just like, okay, why do we have NATO? Like, what is the point of having NATO? At this point, it's literally a joke. Why are we paying into this? Which is what Trump has been saying for a long time. He's wanted to not have to deal with it, but he at the end of the day, like, the powers that be have said, like, you have to do this thing. And he's like, okay, so we'll do this thing. So we're doing the thing. We're paying into the thing. Yet when the shit literally hits the fan, right? Everyone's allowed to just scatter and go wherever they want to go anyway. So at the end of the day, again, what is the point of having NATO alliances if they're just going to literally... And then we had the whole thing with Spain, like, being like, no, you can't use our bases. And like,
in the UK.
Again, you guys are supposed to be our allies. So what the heck?
Yeah. In their defense, when it comes specifically to NATO, NATO was always formed strictly for defense. Oh god, she's on. Hold on. I'll pull that up in just a second. We'll let her get ahead of us. Yeah, like NATO was formed strictly for defense. So I can kind of look, if the French suddenly wanted to attack a nation that we didn't agree with, that they should be conducting offensive operations, I wouldn't want to get roped up into that. That being said, Iran is a very special case. It is a threat to the region. We have also historically agreed that they are a threat. In just like you said, we are the main juice behind NATO. If it wasn't for the United States, NATO wouldn't even be able to exist. We have funded NATO, and they do have a certain amount of obligation to support us. And the thing I like about Trump is he throws the weight of the United States around like better than anybody else. And he's already doing that with the maritime shipping insurance. What he's doing with that is just 4D chess. He's going to ruin the UK when it comes to that entire industry. And I'm curious to see how that all turns out. But Trump is a lot smarter, and he will punish these people for not supporting us. And I want to see that happen. So
he did. He immediately made a statement against Spain and cutting off trade with them and all of that. So, I mean, because at the end of the day, I mean, if Iran right now is just throwing missiles at everybody. They're even throwing missiles at people that are supposed to be their own allies, like even their own fellow Muslim Brotherhood, like they're throwing missiles at them. So at the end of the day, if one decides to go that far, I mean, you know what, Spain, like you're on your own at this point. Like you've made your bed. Good luck. Have fun with that. And that's basically what Trump said. He was like, have fun, I guess. Like,
yeah, they're pretty much a bankrupt nation as it is. So I don't know. They can make their bed and they can lie in it. And when we're not there to help them, they're going to know exactly why. All right. I don't know how to do this, but I don't know. Like I said, we're just going to have fun with Candace Owens today, and I'm not going to take her all that seriously.
Everybody say a prayer.
And I'm going to do my best to not let her annoy me the way that she normally does. So here we go.
Thankfully, gratefully, hello, Blake. Now, look, Erika's trending today over on X. There's a lot of backlash happening because she has offered an explanation as to why it is perfectly acceptable for her to be running this alleged billion-dollar empire while also being a mother and tending to her children. And we should listen to that together because it is infuriating.
Well, where she keep coming up with this billion-dollar empire? That's just made up whole cloth. Again, it's just another exaggeration. It's another small lie that she has to DJ in there to create a mountain of larger lies to convince people of the narrative, just like we talked about. It's a little drip of disinformation at a time to create a narrative to where everybody sits back. And even if, no matter how little or much you're paying attention to this, you're like, something seems weird here. Yeah, it seems weird because your brain has been seeded to death of little dumb things like this.
I am infuriated by what she said. I'm going to be honest.
Too.
Also, we have exclusive audio for you guys from another corporate call from Turning Point USA, and it may give us an indication as to how she is managing to make it all work. And also, we're going to learn that they just opened another office in Las Vegas, which is just so fitting because, as I told you, Vegas is running Washington, D.C. Welcome back to Bride of Charlie.
We have nothing to hide.
Okay, so in a sentence, I would say Erika is trending for being Erika, just for being chronically Erika. People are upset because at a recent Turning Point USA Club America appearance, she offered this sort of explanation as to why she has stepped into Charlie Kirk's role. And I'll give you the obvious point that she's going to make: because God ordained it. Obviously, that's always the vibe. It's biblical. And she explains how the people that are judging her for no longer being a stay-at-home mom, which is what she was, don't actually realize that before she met Charlie, she was actually running her own business. And she managed to build that business in such a way that she was able to operate, or it was able to operate on its own. It was just functioning well on its own, a well-oiled machine, by the time she got married and had kids so she could safely step away. So let's just listen to Erika lie.
You know, I get this question too of, well, you know, you were a stay-at-home mom and all this stuff, like that's what you should go back to doing or something like that. A lot of people don't realize that before I met Charlie, I had my own company, and I still do. And it was one of those things where I built it in a way where that when I got married and had children, it could run on its own. I didn't have to do day to day. I could check in, but I didn't have to do day to day. And that's the beautiful thing is, like, young women in here, if you do create a company or a business and you're an entrepreneur, build it in a way that it sustains itself so that when you do find your husband and you have children, family, that's your main focus. You can have your calling on the side of your company, but your main focus is your husband and your children. And there's something beautiful in that. Unfortunately, I did not see my life being like this. I didn't. So when people are like, oh, she's now this role, I'm honoring what the Lord has put in front of me, and I'm also honoring my husband's request. And now I have to be the sole provider for my children. And again, this is not a business card opportunity. There's something very biblical and a woman honoring her husband and stepping up and standing in. I have an amazing team. I do, and I could not do it without them. Again, my focus is on making sure my children are amazing, young, biblically aligned little humans. But again, you perspective, your life is so much greater than just this blip on a radar. And my focus is always making sure that everything that I'm doing is leading me closer to heaven, not further away from it.
It is starting to frustrate me. There's so much happening there, so many words. It's sounding like Lori Frantz's bio. None of it's
I don't know. Lisa, give us something on that.
I don't know how she's going to try to pick this one apart. Honestly, like, I mean, I'm sure she'll find a way. It's Candace. She will find a way to make this bad or turn it into something negative, because that's what she's going to do. But every single thing that Erika said there was very straightforward. I feel like it was a very clear, precise response to the criticism that she's been getting about why are you not staying home with your children full time. Again, she's never been like full time with her children. Even when Charlie was alive, she did stuff for Turning Point, right? Yeah. She would speak at their big conferences that they had every year. Who knows what else she was doing behind the scenes? We don't know the full
clothing line.
She has Proclaim. Yeah, she still has Proclaim, and she has Bible in 365, which is her Read a Bible in a Year app, where she like does videos and like she reads through the passages every single day. And so, like, yeah, I mean, she's been running that since I believe the LLC for that was established in 2019. So that's been a thing for a long time, even before she married Charlie. The Proclaim and Bible in 365 were established. And so, yeah, I feel like, again, it was a very straightforward response. I'm interested to see how Candace is going to try to manipulate this and twist it into something negative, but she's going to. So,
yes, she will. Well, let's hear what she has to say.
Making any sense. None of it can plausibly be true. For clarity, Erika is completely full of it. I mean, she is septic at this point. It is an absurd answer for so many reasons. So let's start with number one. She's lying. Okay, she's claiming that she ran a business before she met Charlie. That's her point. I was running this business, and then by the time I got married to Charlie in 2021, this business was sustainable. She used her mom's favorite vocab word. Okay, so let's start with that. What business was Erika Kirk running before she met Charlie? I can assist. I was there for this. Okay, the business that she is referring to is a clothing company that prints Bible verses onto t-shirts. Effectively, just Bible verses onto t-shirts. I remember this vividly. Charlie, she does streetwear. She makes t-shirts. Kind of said like he didn't really care what she did because he was looking for a biblical wife, right? Like, I'm going to take care of her. It sounded more like a hobby when Charlie explained it to me. But I also spoke to her and met with her and was aware that she was working on this fashion business, making streetwear. Oh, how new and inventive here in New York City, where on every corner someone is hawking t-shirts. But what I find to be interesting now in retrospect is that actually that streetwear company, so she goes on her first official date with Charlie in September of 2018. she actually picked up the domain name to that streetwear company, which is proclaimstreetwear.com, the month after, on October 26th, 2018. So just, by the way, to be clear, this was a very big week for Erika. She picks up this domain name, Proclaim Streetwear, and it's just 2 days after she received her real estate license in New York.
Oh my God.
All of this happening a few weeks after she meets Charlie. So when Erika meets Charlie, just to paint this picture for you, we're supposed to believe that she's pursuing her master's degree at Liberty University. She is birthing a startup fashion company that she is somehow going to have up and running on its own within 2 years. She's also working in real estate for the Corcoran Real Estate Group, plus going on an interview with Turning Point USA for some job. We're not exactly clear on what that job is. And that's in addition to getting ready to film for a reality TV show the following month, Summer House. Okay.
Sounds like she's a very industrious woman. No wonder Charlie Kirk wanted to marry her. And no wonder Charlie Kirk had no interest in you, because the only thing that you can be accredited to is going from job to job to job to job, suing some people, and then running Blexit into the ground. That's what your accomplishments are. What else you got to say on that, Lisa?
So notice how she starts it off by trying to allude to that the business doesn't actually exist, right? Because she's lying, right? She tries to set it up to frame it as if this is a lie, but then she gradually has to go into actually insulting and degrading Erika's intelligence and the type of business that she created. It's not that the business doesn't exist. It's that it's not the business that Candace would do. She doesn't feel like it's intelligent or, whatever, every corner in New York has a fashion store. So like, it's not the type of business that she would do. But you notice the setup there is to try to frame it as though it's a lie, as if like the business isn't going to exist and she's going to drop this whole thing just for her to show you, no, it actually does exist. It's just, I think that it's dumb, or I think that it's stupid. So then there comes her opinion, right? Literally, I just went to the Proclaim Instagram on my phone, actually. And I looked because I was like, I know that when Charlie first was killed, they put things on hold for a little bit, obviously for the memorial and all of that. And so I was looking to see, like, I'm like, okay, is she going to mention that they had things on hold? But they've actually brought everything back. So they had a restock of the baby blankets on February 3rd, and they had another restock of inventory on February 17th. So they are currently putting out merchandise. Now they do small like restocks like that because it's very, I think even Erika has explained that like it's all made in the US. It's all like smaller sourced items that she uses for her merch and stuff. Yeah, it's not like a mass production thing. So they do small little drops like that, like a couple times a month, and that's how they've always done things. But it looks like they are back up and operating again since post Charlie's death. So if she's gonna try to say that, she's just lying, just getting ahead of it, because I'm sure that it's probably coming somewhere.
Hey, just real quick, somebody mentioned in the comments, I thought that was a great idea. If you go to the Google Play Store or iTunes, I don't have a peasant phone, I have an iPhone. I'm just joking with all you Google people out there. Anyways, there's a couple of Bible 365. I just downloaded it. If there's a paid for option, I'm going to purchase it. But it has this icon right here. There's like 4 of them that are similarly named. I didn't even know which one was correct. But it'll be this one that has this icon right there. So if you want to support her in that way, I definitely recommend that for sure. All right.
I actually do the Bible in 365 app. We're reading through the whole Bible in a year. I've been doing it since the beginning of the year. And yeah, I mean, you get a text every single morning that comes to your phone that tells you what the reading is. And there's a link in that text that gives you the video to Erika where she's reading through the scripture. So you can read through it on your own, or you can listen to her read it at, like, if you're driving in the car or whatever. And sometimes she'll even add on like a little kind of like a daily devotional thing like to that. So she's filming those in advance. Obviously, I don't know how far in advance that she's filming those for the Bible 365 app, but like she's doing that like weekly, I would think.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm born yesterday. I'll take it. I'm born Wednesday. That's totally fine. She's just amazing. She's like giving Mikey McCoy right now, somehow is able to wear every single hat. Now, I want you to understand that this was not actually an up and running business at all. She got the domain name a few weeks after, but the domain was not active, despite the fact that she had it. In October, Proclaim did not actually file to become a business until January of 2019, after she began dating Charlie. That's when she formed the official LLC paperwork. So you're not a business until you have that, okay? And again, this is a clothing company, fashion being an incredibly difficult industry to break into without contacts. But according to Erika, she is going to turn this idea into a self-sustaining business, and she's going to do this somehow, all while all of 2019 touring with Charlie, nonstop traveling, becoming a fellow for the Falkirk Center, speaking for various faith ministries, and pursuing her doctorate. She's got it. This is a boss babe, okay? Now, we decided to go check because it's like, okay, you make clothing. If you're going to tell...
I'm just upset that Erika's businesses aren't quite as successful as Social Autopsy was. That's what I'm really upset about. Or that Flexit was.
I'm just, so what are we doing? Are we getting into because she's very busy? Okay, so she filed or got her real estate license before she, I mean, does anybody, okay, I know multiple people who work in real estate, and they'll tell you the first year you have to have a second or third job, because that first year that you're trying to establish yourself and like your business and get clients under your belt, and like real estate is hard to get into, and it takes a while to establish yourself in real estate. So everybody I've ever known who's worked in real estate, they have to do multiple jobs to sustain that. Okay. That's just, I don't know how she's going to, again, I don't know how she's turning this into a negative thing. But she's literally just kind of approaching that. Okay. So Erika is a very driven individual to get her doctorate, run multiple businesses, get her real estate license. And like, she's got multiple eggs in multiple baskets, which anybody you know who's successful, that's how people who are successful become successful. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's just not smart. So are we literally going to say that like this is some kind of a bad thing? This is actually an intelligent thing to do, actually. So
yeah. And it just shows that she's driven, she's accomplished. Look, what this comes down to is Erika is everything that Candace wishes she was. And she can't believe that there's somebody that is more successful, more driven than her. And I don't see that she's very driven at all. I mean, pretty much everything she does, she fails at. Let's just be real. And that's not just being nasty, although I enjoy that fact is nasty. But everything that she does, she fails, whether it's PragerU, whether it's Daily Wire, whether it's Social Autopsy, whether it's TPUSA, whether it's Blexit. If you want something to get destroyed, get Candace involved with it. And she's destroying herself. I mean, look, at the end of the day, the truth about this is all going to come out, and Candace is never going to recover. I hope she's enjoying the little bit of success and the money and the fame and the adulations that she's receiving right now, but that is not going to last very long. So it's short-sighted, just like everything else that she does.
Us that this is going to somehow you start it in 2019 and by 2021 when you get married it's running on its own. Surely I must be able to instantly buy these clothes. No, actually it wasn't until January 16th 2021. That's the earliest indication on Wayback Machine that clothing items were actually available for sale on the website. You can go back and do this yourself. Wayback Machine, you will see that. We're going to check this out right now. So I want you to just imagine how this became a profitable business, because it's interesting.
That is a hilarious comment, Colin. Good job on you. You might even need 2 teleprompters. Oh, man. She's definitely a grazer. She's definitely not a predator.
Okay, so it says for her, and that it's ethically sourced and you got it, sustainably made. Lori wrote it. I know Lori wrote it. It's sustainable. Don't ask any questions. We already said it's ethically made and it's sustainably made in the USA. So no further questions here. Okay, how many items are available? This is in 2021, so she's only got 5 months to make this.
Just so we're clear, I know it's been said multiple times that Candace was at TPUSA for 2 years. It wasn't 2 years. It was 17 months. 17 months was the actual amount of time that she was at TPUSA. Not very long at all.
Banger. Oh, new drop sold out. We got a fleece jogger. We got a fleece sweatshirt. 5 items that were available. The classic tee. And I just know everybody in 2021 was wearing this classic tee. So clearly this business was completely running on its own for these 5 months that this website was running before she will marry Charlie in May. That's what happened. She married Charlie in May. Later that year in September, in September 20th, to be particular, on September 20th, she's going to release an associated app called Bible 365. But again, that's all irrelevant because that's after she married Charlie. And she says that before she married Charlie,
there you go,
she had a business running. It was a machine. So my question is, how did she do it? How did a clothing company, which didn't even have an operable website, become so successful so quickly? And the answer, so successful that she was able to consciously step away, as she indicates, and become a wife and a mother just 4 months after selling clothing. And the obvious answer is it didn't happen. It didn't. This did not happen. And I cannot stand any longer how everything that comes out of her mouth is so easily, verifiably untrue. It's driving me insane.
It didn't happen. I can't wait to see the evidence of this. Let's hit just a couple of because I just thought of another lie she told the other day that I'm going to find a video and debunk that real quick. But let's see. Getting goatee. Keep up the good work, Gary. I feel like Candace has some serious mental health issues, and it doesn't seem like many people are addressing it. She does, for sure. When I look at her, I see the haters and jealousy of Eric. She hates the fact that Charlie chooses Erika. She is insulting Charlie's memory. Yeah, and I think it's intentional. I don't think this is just directed at, again, I think it's a lot of this hate is actually manifesting as hate for Erika. That's actual hate for Charlie. And yeah, the fact that she's a woman and she's a very petty woman. And, one of the things that was discussed yesterday by Megan was the fact that, it's very, very, it was another video I watched. What was her name? I'm going to pull up this lady in just a minute. Anyways, the fact that it does seem like that Candace is stuck in high school. That's the way that she views the world. It is very immature. It is very high school, mean girl craziness. And I was watching a video last night about that, and I'll pull that up because I want to recommend this creator as well.
You just cannot go on like this as a society. You can't just say stuff. That's one of my rules.
Can you pause this real quick?
You can't just say stuff.
Absolutely.
You can't just say.
So I'm on the Bible 365 Proclaim Instagram. Okay. If you go on here, there is literally a post that they made that says 10th anniversary of Bible in 365. You open it up. It was posted on December 2nd of 2025. They said, journey through the Bible with us in 2026 for our 10th anniversary. How is she going to say that it wasn't established until 2021, yet they're posting that it's their 10th anniversary? That would be what? Then they were established in 2016 for it to be 10 years?
Something like that,
correct? Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, literally right here on their Instagram, they did a 10-year anniversary post in December. So
and to be fair, that doesn't necessarily mean that the app was live then. They could have started that my God, that would have taken a really long time to develop that app. I've been adjacent to people developing apps. And a lot of times those take 2, 3, 4 years just to develop the app, to get it to work correctly and to get it approved and, all the things. So they could have started that company in 2016.
I believe so. So like when you open up the anniversary post, if you go to their Instagram and you open up the anniversary post, it literally plays a clip from her on a podcast where she's talking about how she got the idea to start Bible in 365 and when she started it. And so, yeah, I believe they started it in 2016. So, like, again, I would encourage you all to go and look for this for yourself. Don't just take my word for it, but literally it's right there on their Instagram that this is a 10-year old business. So
there it is.
Words, and just keep saying words, and then just expect everybody to accept those words. You can't just have a Lori bio in life. Okay. I want you guys to think about that as you go through your days, as you go through the weekend. You can't live your life like a Lori Francois bio. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work for me in particular. And by the way, I just wanted to say off top that like fact
for her to maliciously and without reason, just randomly attempt to throw Lori under the bus every opportunity that she gets, it's just silly to me. I mean, it's so, and again, going back to the fact that this woman is dying, I think, look, here's what Candace realizes. If Candace is attacking you, you'd feel a certain way. If a Candace is attacking your dying mother, that's a whole nother thing. I think we'd all agree with that. So I think the entire point of this.
Candace had the audacity on one of her shows to say, the only time that I ever saw Erika, remember when she's talking about their face-to-face meeting that they had, right? She says, the only time that I ever saw Erika get emotional in that meeting or get defensive in that meeting was as soon as we started talking about her mother. And I said, no, duh, you think? Of course, that's going to be like the natural response. If your mom is sick, actively in the last, parts of her life, possibly, you're going to get defensive and you're going to have a clear emotional response to someone like attacking your mom. Like, children typically are protective over their parents anyway, and vice versa. Parents are protective over their children, right? But then you add the extra level of she just lost her husband. She's possibly in the process of losing her mother as well, trying to have the last memories and moments with her mom that she's ever going to have. Yeah, she's going to get defensive. Hello.
And the sick thing that we see with this is Candace saw that as an opportunity. That's the disgusting point of this. That was a moment in her mind where, I found a vulnerability that I can go after. And I think that is everything that's driving what we see here, where it's just, it doesn't even make sense. She's throwing Lori into this narrative and every element of this narrative, every time that, I would say that she has an opportunity, but there's nothing even there that would say like, oh, this is where your mom would come into play. No, it's not. She's just inserting her maliciously and viciously because she's a narcissist and she's a sadist. She really is. She's sadistic. The way that she's going after Erika, and especially the way that she's going after her mother, it is evil, demonic. For all you people out there that want to say that we're using it, that's what it is. All right. No one had to give me a script to say that. It's evil, it's demonic, and sadistic.
It's almost like we have this book that tells us what evil looks like and how to identify it and how to call it out. It's crazy that God gave us this manual, right? Like this kind of like this manual for life that literally tells us all of that. So the script or the talking points literally come from scripture. It's literally the Bible. That's why we all sound like parrots. And I did a whole video on this. And I was like,
I didn't even say anything demonic or any of that stuff until after I heard that. And I'm like, all right, you guys are going to say that I'm jumping on board. I'm in.
I know. I
want to be with these people. I'm on their team. I'm not on your team. I hate you people because you are evil. You are demonic. You are liars. And I want nothing to do with you. And if I need to parrot what these people over here are saying, I'm on their team. If it's, if it's Nate Livingstone, Milpar TV, if it's all of these people that we've associated with or we see calling Candace out, if you're going to say that they're on that team, I'm on that team. I'll say whatever they want me to say or they're saying. I'm on board because I just don't care. I want to do the exact opposite of what you evil people are doing. That's where I'm at with all this.
Right. At the end of the day, I'm like, I'm not getting paid anything. I'm just doing what's right because it needs to be done. But again, I think it's funny that they want to be like, you're all just parroting the same talking points. And I'm like, the talking points are scripture. That's why. It's all coming from the same source material because it's literally the Bible. Like, what are we doing right now?
Some of it should just come down. I don't care if you've never looked at the Bible once or you're a Christian or not. You should be able to look at this and be like, you know what? Just my own intuitive conscience tells me, hey, you know what? That's evil.
You would think.
It's obvious. Yeah. And like these people are saying that we're paid and all that. I've done nothing but take hits doing this and it's worth it. I don't care if I lose everything doing this. I'm going to still be doing this, period. Like I'm so sick of these people.
Check untrue. That's before we even
I said I wouldn't let her get me all upset today, but I'm already upset.
Actually officially dive into the substance of the claim that she's making to this audience, right? Oh, how are you doing this? Well, of course, because God so willed it. She must continue Charlie's company. This is biblical. She's honoring her husband. It's biblical. Don't ask further questions. Erika is being a fantastic wife by her kids not only have one parent, by dividing her time to be a CEO and a chairman. It's not what she wanted. It's the hand that she was dealt. That's very relatable, right? She's now, as she says, and this is what really frustrates me, she calls herself the sole provider. Okay. It frustrates me because what it truly does is it discounts who Charlie was, how genius he was, how financially savvy he was. Like, she's trying to relate like she's just like a single mom and working a 9 to 5, working at a restaurant, trying to make ends meet for her children, and the father's gone. No, she's not implying in any way here or being clear here that Charlie had a life insurance policy, both at home, at work, which she would have benefited tremendously from. In fact, some people have done work. And I believe just at the life insurance policy that Turning Point had for Charlie in the event of his passing, Erika was set to receive $10 million from his work policy. So this is an insult to Charlie because it implies he had nothing, it did not have their affairs in order at all. Like, he just had kids and was just like, oh, well, if anything happens to me, I hope my wife is able to assume my role. No, Charlie always had his financial house in order. Investments, whether he was investing in real estate, he had trusts for their children. A life insurance policy would have been a no-brainer for him. And like I said, she benefited to the tune of millions. She also wants us to forget that, parking aside Charlie, let's actually pretend that Charlie was financially irresponsible and just, was able to run this massive business, but somehow never thought about his kids or his legacy. She wants us to then forget that millions were raised just for her and the kids by complete strangers online.
Look, this comes up every show, and I think it's worth addressing every show because I've put a lot of time and thought into this. I don't think, number one, I think TPUSA is ready to sue Candace, but here's what I think will hold them back. They have no idea what's going to happen with the Macron lawsuit. And whatever they do, if they just, number one, defamation has a 3-year, you have 3 years to do that, right? Statute of limitations for a lawsuit. So you got 3 years, you got plenty of time. Now, and like, we could start today based on this. So a new day, every day that Candace gets on air, a new day starts. You got 36 months to move from there. I think they are prepared and they are preparing. That's what that meeting was about. She, spent 4.5 hours with this woman, acted in good faith, flew to her, by the way. Erika Kirk flew to her, took the time out, when Candace went and said, oh, I'll come on anytime, any place, you name it. And then suddenly when they start naming time and places, she wasn't amenable to any of those things. So in good faith, Erika flew to her, spent 4.5 hours answering, I'm sure, every question in the book. There were lawyers involved. I do think that she let her know that they're serious about this. And now they're just seeing what happens. But this is what's going on. Why would they start a because it'll be millions of dollars to sue her. They're going to have a fleet of lawyers. Candace is going to have a fleet of lawyers. It's going to be a lot of money. It's going to take 3 years once they file that lawsuit for it to be adjudicated at the end of it, if not longer. It could be longer. But why would they do that and risk their donors' money when she's about to go through a lawsuit? There's already a defamation lawsuit in place against the Macrons. So let's say they start that in a year from now, with the Macron lawsuit, they decided that they're going to take Candace for $30 million or whatever it is. I don't know. So number one, I think they're sitting back waiting to see what happens with that. Number two, the other element of this is it would make their case much stronger to prove that she's lying and defaming them if Tyler Robinson is convicted. So that could be 2 years from now as well. So both of those two things, I think, are within their calculus of deciding whether or not to file a lawsuit. They got 3 years. And so that's where I think they are. I think, Lisa, I don't know if you got anything else to add to that, but I think that's makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, no, I think with the lawsuit stuff, that was That's basically my thoughts as well. I wanted to address what she's saying about this, sole provider comment. Like, notice how she's always so focused on money. It's always about money with Candace. God forbid that we ever look at anything from any other angle besides financial, right? And again, that just shows I think the nefariousness of all of this is that it's only like literally she is only capable of talking about things from a financial standpoint. When Erika is saying things like I'm now the sole provider, yes, that includes financially, but it also includes literally just having to be both mom and dad now to your children. You have to be both. You have to cover all of the bases now, right? Which is not how this thing is set up to go. When you get married and have children, you are signing up to have someone there in it with you, to be a team member, to help you raise these kids together, right? Like the majority of people do not sign up to do this on their own. We're not meant to raise children on our own. That's why you have to have the other person to create them, because you have to have both people to raise them, right? So for her to say that like her statement was an insult to Charlie, no, it's not. It has nothing to do with Charlie. Again, he was taken from her against her will. She was put into this situation again, like against what she wanted. This is not like, she literally says, Candace didn't play the full clip, but if you watch the full clip, she says, this is not how I thought my life was going to go. Again, when we sign up for marriage and kids, we don't sign up or go into it thinking that we're going to do it on our own. You're not meant to raise children on your own. That's not how it was designed, right? And so she literally says, this is not how I thought my life was going to go. And so she's talking about now, like, again, I have to be both mom and dad to my children, and that is going to be difficult. Like, I think it's leave it to Candace to only drill in the financial part of it and completely like ignore all of the other aspects of this thing. It's just infuriating.
Yeah, look, and I think her accusations are admissions, right? I think that's how she sees the world. I think that's how she sees her marriage with George, as this financial agreement that is beneficial to both of them. Man, I just like, there is nothing. Never once have I seen her and been like, you know what? That is a loving, caring, feminine person that I want to be around. Nothing. I mean, she seems completely sociopathic, at least, if not psychopathic. She just doesn't view the world the way that any of us do. There's no way for her to say and do the things that she's saying. And like we talked about the attack on her dying mother, like there is no human empathy or sympathy that I perceive out of any of this ever. And, I think that's very telling.
Well, if George cared about his wife, he would be doing something about this. Where are you, George? What are you doing?
Maybe he's as deranged as she is. I don't know.
Who knows? Or he's in on it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Fund me and maybe $1 million here, $1 million there. She's also trying to pretend that she's not a multimillionaire who did an alleged $1 billion deal with a man named Pierre. No, she wants you to believe that she is just like you, only worse off because she's a single mom trying to survive for the sake of her kids with a private jet and drivers. This girl doesn't even touch her own door handles, just to be clear. She's constantly got, also a fleet of security, but she's just like you.
Of course.
This is the
and neither do you, Candace. Oh my God. I can't. I'm so tired of her talking to us like she's just a normal, average person. You do not live like the rest of us, Candace. You literally are married to a baron. You have money and access to things that the rest of us, the most normal people, will never have. And yet she constantly goes on these rants about the elites, and the elites are involved in all this stuff. And I'm like, you are the elites. What are you talking about? While she sits there in a shirt that costs more than my rent. What are we doing right now? You are not just the average person. I get that you were raised in probably like a middle class home or whatever, but you are not in that position in your life any longer, and you have not lived that life for a very long time. Okay.
Well, I mean, she told on herself. To me, the most telling element that references that or proves that she's detached with normal reality is when she wants to go on there and say that her toddlers don't wake up in the middle of the night. They're in REM sleep. Like, clearly you have nannies. Clearly you're not dealing with your kids waking up in the middle of the night, because I have had 4 kids and they've all gotten up. One of them 16, he still wakes up in the middle of the night. I hear him rustling around in there. Like, just shut up. Like, just
yeah, I mean, we have an interview of her straight up talking about interviewing their night nannies. So we know for a fact that they use nannies with their children. So yeah, at the end of the day, I'm so tired of this narrative that she's, oh, I'm just like you. No, Candace, you don't live like us. Erika also does not live a lifestyle like us, but she is not out here saying that she does. Candace, however, is constantly trying to push this narrative that she's just like everybody else, and she very much is not.
Couldn't agree more.
The only provider, so I got to get on my private plane and speak. And like I said, what about people that actually knew her that raised millions for her and the kids? Forget the complete strangers, but also people who just knew her and did it publicly, like Tucker Carlson. Do you guys remember that? He alone, his Alp company, raised $5.4 million for her. Okay, this is still up. He set out to raise 6. They raised 5.4 million. I actually think it was less. Then he just kept, he kept blowing through it. So they kept raising it and raising it and raising it. $5.4 million, very clearly to help provide for Kirk family's future. It was for Erika and it was for the kids. And Give, Send, Go is not GoFundMe. They don't take a huge percentage. They don't take a percentage at all. That is what Tucker Carlson was able to provide, just Tucker Carlson. So what is she doing actually? Why is she just saying words? She's saying words because she lies. She lies all the time. And we're supposed to just take it. We're supposed to just be like, yes, she's just trying to deal with this. She doesn't even, it's so hard.
This sounds just like every Democrat that tries to pit normal people against successful people. This is just like the politics of greed and envy. She's trying to raise and create disdain from everybody else out there, trying to say this person's rich, which means she's evil, which means she's not doing anything, which means she's being given money, and just trying to stoke the fires of resentment. It is a classic tactic because it works. And I'm sure her viewers are just gobbling it up, just lapping it up.
Well, I also hate how she's completely, again, just skipping over or like not addressing that Erika would have had death and burial and funeral expenses that she would have had to have paid for too. Now, not saying that she doesn't have the money to do that, but that stuff is not cheap. And Tracy Martin, in her interview that she did with Graham Allen, confirmed that Charlie was buried, right? So we know that he was embalmed. We could see that from the video that she did with the casket. So you're paying for embalming. We're paying for transportation of him to be moved from one state to another. That's expensive. Then you add in, again, like caskets and burial plots and all of that stuff. It all adds up at the end of the day. Like, it's not cheap. I believe that Turning Point has also talked about that they're having a custom mausoleum made for Charlie. That's going to take a while to do all of that. And there's permits and things that they have to pull because they don't have the land where the offices are. They're going to have to buy land specifically for that. But at the end of the day, like, again, she's not addressing any of those real life things that people are, that like come into all of this.
Yeah. And she's sitting there. She's using the same things that Candace is using, the same things that she is a participant in to demonize Erika. And that's the hypocrisy of all this is what is driving you nuts and driving me nuts as well. Speaking of which, Crashman Von Stink Putin, I was about to spend money on a shirt from Candace's apparel line, but I just found out that selling fashion is a fake thing. Is it any wonder why Erika is ignoring Candace's emails? Well, when Candace is sending questions to Erika and a lawyer is responding and then, or letting you know it's being forwarded to a lawyer, and then there is no response coming your way, again, the FBI would call that a clue, Candace. They're getting ready to sue you. They're getting ready to sue you. Or at least
Erika and nobody at Turning Point should be having any contact with this woman. Per legal advice, they would be told by their lawyers not to have any contact with her at all.
Yeah. If the advice would be, hey, if you get any other correspondence from Erika, or from Candace rather, send it to me, the lawyer. That's what's going to happen. And whether they sue or not, they're definitely going to have their ducks in a row, so that if they decide to freaking hit the button on that, they're ready to go. I had a real estate license back in the early 2000s and had to work in property management part-time because it's hard to get a contract to sell a house. Yeah, there's nothing easy about real estate. That's for sure. £5, which is like 47 US dollars, I think. I sent you an email, ignored. I found out what I needed. I was ill yesterday, so didn't get a chance to see any lives. People, just be aware that if you send me an email, like I get about 50, sometimes more emails after every show. I go through those. Sometimes I respond, sometimes I don't. Don't be offended. And no matter what, even if I am going to respond, it's going to take a while. Scientology teaches to find someone's vulnerability and use that to utterly destroy utterly. Tamara explains well why Candace Owens is still stuck in high school mentality. That's who I was talking about earlier, Tamara. I will pull up her channel, and I want you guys to go check out one of her latest videos. I did, and definitely go subscribe to her. I think her eyes are so far apart from the inbreeding from the beginning of her family tree. Remember, the special guest told us so well. That's pretty funny. TPUSA is very focused on midterms. They can't have a lawsuit with this nutball derailing fundraising or hammering the organization before that. Agreed. Yeah, and I mean, just from a strategic standpoint, even if they are going to sue her, they're going to wait till after the midterms so that everything that Mark Line is saying right here. Number one, so they don't get distracted. And number two, you know what's going to happen if they launch a lawsuit? She's not going to stop. She's going to kick it up even further. The defamation, the attacks are going to increase, not just from her, but all of her downstreamers as well. And those are things that these people are thinking about that most of us probably don't.
Find a job, and it happened to be her husband's. Okay. I fully agree that this person, this human, wanted power, and she seized it. That's why she didn't even flinch. She didn't even wait a week before she was in that office doing sit-down interviews at her home with the New York Times. She didn't even wait a week to pretend that she was grieving. She was back in the office. She cannot honestly state, and by the way, this is just a matter of common sense, Erika cannot honestly state that her focus is both on her children and on the company, because it's not possible. It's just not possible in a one-parent home. It isn't. Even if she had a job that was part-time in a one-parent home, she would be being crushed by her schedule. Okay, that's the whole thing. You're designed to have two parents in the home, and now she has to step up to the plate, pretending she has to step up to the plate, and she's going to take on not a regular company, but an empire. She's just going to take on Turning Point USA, and she wants us to believe that she's both putting her children first and putting the company first. Now, I assume that Erika knows that I get leaked everything. By now, they clearly know that. And, you know, there was a ton of tremendous public backlash when I had released the 2 Zoom calls. Particularly, people were sort of unnerved by, I don't know if she mentioned the kids at all, her kids at all, but how little she mentioned Charlie. Rather, she was giddy talking about merch and talking about hats. And this was 11 days after Charlie had been assassinated. The first one was 6 days after she had been assassinated. And so this time, now in February, which is when this call is dated, February 11th, she made a point to immediately mention her kids. And this is their kind of recapping how great the Super Bowl was, not acknowledging that they purchased all of these views, but we competed with Bad Bunny, and we're going to...
They didn't purchase views. That was proven, and it's just dumb.
That's been debunked so much. Like, what?
She's so petty. She's so...
Notice how she's doing like the language manipulation again, where she says she's pretending. She's pretending to have her schedule. Again, like, she's always got to get those little zingers in there. Like, have you guys picked up on, like, she's got to get that negative, like, little, that jab in there every once in a while. She just got to, it drives me absolutely insane. It's like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah. And out of this entire series, I've watched, this is the 6th out of the 7th. I only missed number 6 because I needed a break. Like, I have not seen a single element of this that has made me thought less of Erika. And she is trying so hard to take these normal, mundane things, from going all the way back to 1935 and saying that her, you know, she had some ancestors. And the other thing too about that, like, and I brought this up, these people that were accused of things, even going back to 1935, not that it matters and not that it has anything to do with Erika, but she doesn't even prove that these are the same people. That she never even proves that these aren't, you know, that these are indeed her ancestors. Like, there's no, all that we get is some made up family tree, and then some names, and then some, you know, 1935 newspaper clippings. But it's totally nothing. Like, you can find more dirt on someone. You can pick any random person. I promise you'll find more dirt than what we've been shown about Erika Kirk at this point.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing there. If anything, like, the calls that she released made me like Erika even more. Yeah. I listened to all of those. I have a breakdown on those on my TikTok if anyone wants to go watch them. But I literally walked away from it being like, Erika is an amazing boss, and I would love to work for Turning Point. Like, this makes me want to work for them, because if this is how you handle this, you're doing an exceptional job. She was going through probably like just the personal level of stuff that she's dealing with, right? And she does not talk about herself a single time. She is completely focused on her employees. What do they need? How can I help you? Here's the resources and the grief options that we have available for you. And she lists all those things off, right? And she literally says, like, you know, take, they had already given them time off, by the way. So they'd already given them time off to grieve. But she says, if you need additional PTO, like, take that time. That's totally fine. She also, like, and she's mentioning, well, why didn't she mention her kids on those calls? Why would you be mentioning your children in a business meeting with your staff or your employees? Like, you're not typically going to start that off talking about your children. So, like, again, Candace is trying to make that into a weird thing. That's not weird. I wouldn't start off a staff meeting speaking about my children, at least not normally, unless something came up that has to do with them. But, like, on the majority of times, that's not going to happen. But yeah, like, I listened to all of those, like, leaked calls or whatever, and I was like, Erika is an exceptional, like, the level of leadership that she showed in those calls was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, couldn't have said it any better. Yeah, folks, make sure you like, subscribe. Links down in the description below to become a member. Make sure you go follow LIsaKnows. All of her social media links are down in the description as well.
Now I'm going to bring Erika on, because it's going to start with Tyler Boyer, and I've got rid of everything else with him. It's just, you know, Tyler and Erika are thick as thieves. And so you're going to hear him. You're going to hear him explain that they're opening a new office, of course, in Las Vegas, before he hands over the call to Erika, who is then going to edit herself to really make it about the children. Take a listen.
Last thing I'll say is this: at Turning Point Action, we have a ton of jobs posting in Arizona, Nevada, and New Hampshire. Those 3 states are so critical for our success. We actually just locked down. Jonah just got back from there, got the keys to a new building that we have in Las Vegas, which is really exciting. So it's about similar size of this. And so the footprint is growing. Things are moving. Things are happening. But we're going to need 1,000 more people in this room this time next year to win across the country and set ourselves up for the future. So get excited about that. And without further ado, go ahead and hand off the microphone here into the wonderful Erika Kirk.
Look, they're still putting the mission first, what they're supposed to be doing, and that is getting conservatives elected in these, swing states. That's what this is about. It's not about Nevada. Notice she didn't mention the other two states. What she say? New Hampshire, and I don't remember the other one. But again, these are swing states. And this is where TPUSA is going to put most of their time, effort, money, and the donated resources that they've always used, just like Charlie Kirk would be doing. So this is so disingenuous and so dishonest.
Hi, everyone. I know it's not usually normal to have everyone brought together, but I wanted to do that for a multitude of reasons. One being, I want to say something very personal and say thank you to each and every one of you. I bring my babies to the office 9 times out of 10, and a lot of you have interacted with them, and it's very sweet to me, and it's very precious to them, because then they know you guys by name, and they'll come to me and they'll say, did you know that so-and-so gave me a stuffy or something like that? Thank you. That my kids are my world, and I love bringing them here because they get to see what their father built and what you guys all continue building. So that personally means.
How on earth is she's going to turn this into something evil? Nefarious?
I mean, Turning Point is a political organization. They always have been, and I agree with you that they very clearly everything he was talking about, the new building, that all goes back to politics and what's coming up with the midterms. And again, I've said from the beginning, Turning Point has not shifted anything. They have been consistent this entire time with the way that they deal with donors and fundraising and what their goals are and their views are. None of that has changed. The only person in this equation that has completely done a total 180 here is Candace. She has completely shifted on everything.
Yeah.
They have stayed consistent to who they are from the very beginning. And literally, once again, this woman is like thanking her staff for going above and beyond to make her children a priority and to notice them when they are around, because she is trying to juggle both things. The thing that the Candace supporters are constantly getting her on her about is you're going back and forth between being a mom and a CEO, and how dare you need to stay at home with your children, and like, how are you going to make this all work? And she's sitting there saying, like, I'm bringing them with me to make them a part of this experience. So again, they can see what their dad built. And she's talking about, like, thank you for taking the time to invest in my children and talk to them and grow into, like, invest in them, right? That's an amazing thing that they're doing, and she's thanking them for that. And again, she's not even thinking about herself here. She's literally thanking these people for all of the things that they're doing for her and the amazing job that they're doing. It just makes me want to go work for Turning Point, because like they seem like an amazing organization, and Erika seems like an amazing boss. Like, who would not want to work for that? Like, that's crazy to me. I guess unless you've never had a bad job, which I've had a lot of bad jobs in my life, and that makes you appreciate a good job when you have a good job. So I'm listening to all of this as someone from an employee perspective, and I'm like, that sounds amazing to me. You guys are insane.
Yeah, there's not too many jobs that people will have the opportunity to have where you believe in the mission that you're carrying out and you believe in the people that are running the company. That's what this is. And of course, there's going to be people that are disgruntled and have issues. And man, like, we run a business. I've had disgruntled employees, former employee. Like, you go through that. No matter what you do, you're not going to please everybody. It's just the way it works. But like you said, there's no way that you can twist what she just said and turn that into something evil unless you are literally just about Satan himself. South Carolina Dog Fan 88 says, by her own admission, she's not a mom to her kids because she's only focused on Erika. Gay George is Mr. Mom. I don't even think that. I don't think George is taking care of the kids either. I think they have a fleet of nannies. Ben Carson, neurosurgeon, raised by a single mom. Yeah, there's lots of folks that are, were raised by single moms that are absolutely successful in spite of it. They are trying to pressure Erika to quit. They need TPUSA to be not as effective of an organization as it is. The whole thing seems like an op of some sort. It's all an op. It is all an op. Any way that they can degrade, even at the edges, of TPUSA and how effective they are to getting people to the polls and turning especially the youth into conservative voters. They're going to do. That's what's happening here. You guys see right through this. It's obvious to anybody that has eyes. They don't want conservatives to win in the midterms. And that's what's happening.
And I just want to say, whoever leaked this to Candace, you are the scum of the earth.
Absolutely.
I hope that Turning Point figures out who you are, and I hope that you get fired expeditiously, because you deserve it, and you are an absolute scumbag. Whoever is giving her this information is a horrible human being. I'm sorry, but that's disgusting.
Couldn't agree more.
Means a lot to me. I just want to say thank you for that. Also, I'm going to be doing something kind of like a lunch with your department style thing, because it is on my heart so badly. I would love to sit down with each and every one of you individually. I want to know your name, your face, like be able to pray for you guys and really just know you. And so since I can't do individually just yet, because that would be a long day and time and month and year to do that, I'm going to be...
Oh, just be clear. They do have NDAs. Whoever's leaking this information is violating NDAs. You better believe the onboarding process at TPUSA includes a stack of NDAs. So those exist. Guarantee it. There's no doubt. They're just violating it, which goes back to exactly what Lisa said. This person's a scumbag. And just like the NDA that TPUSA had with Candace Owens, she didn't care about it. All right, she just went ahead and defamed them, talked trash on them, and everything else, even though it was completely against her contractual obligations. And hopefully she's going to pay for it.
Conjoining it through departments so we can make them very small and intimate, maybe 3 people at a time, and have lunch with you guys just to hear your heart and hear your stories about Charlie. To be honest with you, that would be amazing, and your memories with him. So that was one thing on my heart, why I wanted to also just bring you guys all together.
Okay, so the people watching your kids, you should already know your names. You should already know their names. If you're saying in this first half, thank you for watching my kids, what should not follow is saying, I look forward to learning your names.
Oh my God.
That's not what she said. Oh my God. She did not say that they were watching her kids. She said, I bring my children to the office with me at times. Thank you for paying attention to them, speaking to them, and investing in my children. Oh my God.
Her mouth is moving. She's lying, folks. Not Lisa.
I just feel that if they're watching your kids and the kids are coming home and saying, so-and-so did this, that's not the first time you should be hearing so-and-so's name. So this is supposed to be endearing. Oh, thank you guys so much. You know, I'm dumping them at the office. And in addition to working extra hours and maybe getting a surprise, they're all going to be fired at the end of this week because we don't know who's leaking to Candace. And oh my gosh, we fired everyone last week and they're already still leaking to Candace. In addition to all of this, she's basically thanking them for babysitting, right? Thank you for being around the office. I'm just dumping my kids here. And I would like to now try to see if we can get a lunch date and we're supposed to be endeared by this. Like, oh, the kids are in office because this is what Charlie built. Like, no, that's not where toddler kids should be. They should not be at an office. That's not endearing. This is wrong. They should not be with you 9 times out of 10 at an office. That's not the environment that children are supposed to be in. They're not walking through. And by the way, just in case you don't know the setup, where Charlie worked is completely separate from where everybody else works. Okay. He has his own building and a small amount of the team is in the building. They're not familiar with the entire office. They're not walking in being like, oh, this feels like dad. This reminds me of when dad used to, what? You weren't even at the office. You just said.
It's not what she said. She said she wants her kids to see what her father built. That's what she said. And
is she not aware that there are companies and organizations that literally have on-site daycares for their employees? Like literally, I work for a church and we had a time where like it was like everybody was pregnant at the same time, like it's in the water or something. And literally our church was talking about putting together like an on-site staff daycare because there were so many of us with little kids that needed daycare at that time to be able to help us, right? And to have our children be in close proximity to us throughout the day, especially with like little babies and stuff. But like, she's saying that it's such a negative to have your children come to the office. Again, there are so many people that have on-site daycare at their workplaces and at their offices. Like, what are we talking about right now?
Yeah. Just to answer a question I saw come up more than once in there. So Candace Owens was on a contractual obligation through December 2nd, 2025. She's no longer under this obligation, but Owens previously worked for TPUSA from 2017 to 2019. And she had ongoing contractual obligations not to make any disparaging, false, misleading, or otherwise defamatory comments about TPUSA and or its employees, agents, directors, officers, affiliates, programs, or services. The cease and desist letter added that Owens freely undertook this obligation in exchange for payment by support from and access to TPUSA. Her obligation remains in effect for 12 months following the term of her agreements, which were on December 2nd, 2025. So it went through December 2nd, 2025. So yes, she was under contractual obligation to basically keep her mouth shut about anything, saying anything negative about TPUSA or its affiliates. And she blew right through that. So yes,
that's because the last speaking engagement that she did for them was the Young Women's Conference, which was in June of 2024. And so yeah, that would carry out that part of that contract was from that last speaking engagement that she did.
Exactly.
In this speech that you were a stay-at-home mom while you got.
And my point, number one, besides a completely separate defamation lawsuit, TPUSA could sue her for breach of contract just on that alone, just so we're clear. So there's multiple avenues of recourse that TPUSA can and might take against Candace Owens. Just depends on what they want to do.
Guys were married. So why would this place remind your children of their father, your toddler children of their father? This is a corporate office. This is not home. It's like, why do I need to communicate this with you? Are you just surrounded by robots? Are you a hybrid, Erika? Answer yes or no. Like, I don't understand why they don't understand why none of this is normal. Why are we having to explain to Turning Point USA why all this is off? And why does it feel like she intentionally just edits a little bit after feedback? Like they're just downloading an algorithm, you know? Like people are say, you shouldn't be wearing sparkly pants. So then she's like, okay, download the new algorithm says wear black. And then she's wearing black. And then they're like, I don't think her.
I love Chunk says, watching this just makes me feel better about the PSYOP I'll do against Candace. Look, I've said this, it's not a PSYOP when you're telling the truth. I mean, I guess you can label the truth as a PSYOP. I guess it's a psychological operation to overcome, lies. To undermine people like me and Lisa and many other people's credibility that are in opposition to Candace, they have to make things up. They have to lie. They have to lie. They have to create these false narratives. For us to undermine her and all of her surrogates, all we got to do is tell the truth. That's the difference. That's the difference. And unfortunately, it is sad to see that it is so beneficial to just sit up here and lie. It's sad to know that the American people are in such a state, they lap this thing up. They will pay for it. They will send in super chats for all this. They will encourage it. They will incentivize it. We're in a sad state in America because it's like people that used to watch soap operas. We know like soap opera. I remember growing up in church, and I remember our pastor preaching against soap operas. I remember that and when you look, it's all about people lying, scheming, and people get all into it. It is this psychological porn. There's nothing good, productive, and it doesn't feed the best in you for sure. Well, that's what this is. Now it's a soap opera that not only do you get to watch, and you get to just feed the worst parts of your character. But on top of that, now there's people that are going to participate in all this, and they get into it, and they get to, it's just like a choose your own adventure murder mystery made for lifetime that you get to participate in. And they love it. They love it. Both men and women. It's evil stuff.
Tears are real. So someone's like, do not use tissue, drop tear on cheek. And then she does it and she lets the tears flow. There's just like little updates that are being made each time because I don't know, there's just no sense of common humanity there, a common understanding of how humans should be behaving. And they're like trying to teach a hybrid what to do. So they're like, oh, okay, got caught.
I mean, just projection right here. Just projection.
Remember when you were cheering about the hat sales, the merch? So this time mention how much you love your kids. Thank you for watching, my kids. I look forward to learning your names. It's all driving me crazy. The lies are driving me crazy.
That's
The
right.
things that she's saying, the words that are coming out of her mouth are driving
It's
me
crazy when you
crazy.
think about this
And I
entire rant is literally based off of something that she created in her own head, because again, Erika never even made the statement that she's been going on a monologue about for the last, what is this? We're going into like 2 or 3 minutes of this now. And again, Erika never even made the statement that she is totally freaking out about. So she is just ranting and raving about something that didn't even happen. She literally created it in her own imagination.
And
oh my God.
And it's admission through accusation. It's literally, we could be sitting here saying the exact same thing about her, and it would be true, unfortunately. We all need a mental break. Let's go see what Crystal WV has to say. Candy is cray cray. If I saw my friend behaving this way, I would call her for an intervention. Obviously, she has no friends. Who would want to be friends with that? Why would Erika not keep her kids with her? People like Candace Owens makes it impossible to be safe anywhere. Candace Owens is a complete idiot. Truth. This is disgusting. She wants to be CEO. I heard her husband wanted to buy TPUSA after Charlie death, and they said no, so she's mad about that. Yeah. I don't know if he wanted to buy it. I think he was trying to throw his hat in the ring to become CEO. And of course, they said, get out of here, you dirty Brit. And then I'll blame her. Blame them.
To stop. We'll take a brief break and we will be back. All right, you guys. Nimi Skincare is the only skincare brand that I have seen.
All right, you guys.
We do need a break. My God.
All right, you guys. It was actually pretty hard on YouTube to get to this.
That shares your values. Pure Talk, America's wireless company. I just want to shake her. Like, I just want to just stop. It's like she's malfunctioning or something. And you know how, like, when something's malfunctioning, you have this arbitrary idea, but if you shake it, it will get better somehow. You're like, oh, this isn't working. That's how I feel. I feel like Erika isn't working. Do you know what I mean? She's not working. And I want it fixed. It's driving me insane to just, why are they allowing it? Is nothing you're saying is true or real. It's like a wild imagination. Yes, of course you wanted power.
Can we clip
you
that?
wanted power, Erika. You're not struggling for money. You're not trying.
Absolutely.
We need to clip that right there where she says it's a wild imagination. This is not reality. None of this is true. Yeah, right back at you. Ditto there, Candace. Like literally, that's exactly what I have been saying to you this entire time.
Yeah.
To make it for your kids. So please never say that again. Please honor Charlie's legacy by stopping this show, pretending as though like you have to do it because he was just messy and couldn't take care of the finances. Anyway, a couple of quick updates. So we had mentioned that after
whoever said that, oh, like I'm pretending that he was messy and couldn't take care of the finances.
Again, another thing that Erika never said that she made up in her own brain. Like,
well, what she's trying to do is she's trying to feed off of Wolves and Finance's allegations, saying that there was a whole bunch of misappropriated funds and, again, potentially illegal activity happening on the books of this. And this goes back to she's smuggling in digs at Charlie Kirk himself. That's what's happening with this.
While professing to be his friend who cares so much. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I got it paused. Didn't mean to pause it that quick, but my God, that required a response. Candace doesn't raise her kids. That's why she thinks it's weird to bring them to work. Trump brought his kids to work. My dad brought us and grandkids in his lap in the boardroom. How you learn. I've always brought my kids to work. My kids still go up to my shop. I brought my grandson. Yes, I have a grandson. Up to our shop. And if I died, I would love for him to be up there seeing our shop. I don't care if the shop grew and changed and, everything expanded or it doesn't matter. I would like my grandson exposed to the things that I did while I was alive. That's just a natural, normal human behavior. But Candace finds it's odd. You talk about being a hybrid. She's the alien. She's the one that doesn't seem to have any normal human affection or emotions whatsoever. And then she takes that and projects it like, you're the weird one. It's like a psychopath calling a normal person strange because they don't want to kill people. Like, that's what we're dealing with here. The amount of projection that we're getting from this lunatic is it's hard to sit here and watch this. And I don't understand how a million people or whatever, however many people are watching it right now, or can watch this and not feel the exact same things that we do. Like, I don't care if you like her or not. I don't care if you believed all the other nonsense, just objectively sitting here and watching this and not having a similar reaction that you're having in the comments, that I'm having, that Lisa's having. It means you're nuts. You need to go talk to somebody, and you need God. You really do.
My pastor, Pastor Mark Driscoll, who got brought into all of this because Candace is apparently obsessed with him, but he calls her out every single time on her crap. He actually gave a whole response on his his podcast the other day. You guys should go watch it if you haven't. And literally that clip that he played where we did like a prayer vigil, like the day that Charlie was killed. We did a prayer vigil. I was sitting in that room when he preached that, by the way. No notes, no nothing. He just came in and just talked off the fly of like what he was feeling in that moment, right? Like trying to shepherd his flock when we were all going through grief and the trauma of seeing that video and just trying to be there for our community in that moment when we needed it, right? Like what a pastor is supposed to do, right? So I literally it was so weird watching that whole thing, that whole interaction with Pastor Mark and Candace play out, because I know Pastor Mark personally. My husband actually worked for Trinity for a period of time. He doesn't anymore, but he does do contract work for them from time to time. So we still have a close relationship with him, but I know him and his wife personally. They've actually been there for our family during some difficult times, including when my own brother passed away a couple years ago. And so it was just interesting watching that whole thing go down again, like as someone who sat in that room when he preached that sermon. It was just so crazy. But yeah, like he did a whole sermon not too long ago talking about, with boys specifically, that when you're raising boys, it's really important to bring boys in and like physically get them engaged in whatever it is that you're doing. So he talked about men who run businesses. They said, like, bring him on the job site, bring him wherever, and like get him engaged in whatever it is that you're doing, because that's how boys learn the best. And that, like, they need to be building something, because if boys, they got all that testosterone, and if it's not put into building something, they'll just destruct. They will destroy. If they're not building, they will destroy, right? And so he has like a whole sermon about like raising the differences between girls and boys. And anyway, I just thought that was interesting, because Candace is like saying that you shouldn't take your kids to work. And I'm like, no, actually you should, but especially if you have boys, because like that's how they learn, actually.
Yeah. And look, you know, if like what she took on this role as CEO, and I think she's genuine and earnest about wanting to carry on her husband's legacy. So she decided that she's going to do that. The last thing that she's going to do is leave her kids at home alone, where they can come to the office with her. She can get the things done that she needs to get done. They can be interactive with people. They can see what's going on around them. They can keep their mind off of not missing, you know, their father. Like it's a natural thing that all of us would do. Like, I'm telling you right now, if I died tomorrow, and even if I had, you know, and I do have life insurance, right? But my wife wouldn't shut down her business. Even if that life insurance, she thought that would be enough to last her their lifetime, she would keep the business going, because she's invested in the business as well. And guess what? Our kids, especially our son that is homeschooled, he'd be going in with her all the time. And especially if they were young, if they were 3, 4, 5 years old, they were toddlers still, she'd be taking them to keep them busy, to start making. We like taking our kids up to the shop, even when they were younger. When we were doing this business and things were different, they were constantly engaged. So number one, they can see what we do. Number two, they can see that, hey, this doesn't just come for free. It doesn't just happen, right? And on top of that, we put them to work. I mean, from a young age, they were boxing products up. They were out helping with the range. I had my kids out there setting up targets, painting steel, policing up brass, you name it. They were engaged in this business. And that's how most people that are running the business are going to react. She has no clue of this, because she doesn't.
It's good for them. Like,
yeah. She's the wife that fights with her husband because she dreamed I don't even think, I really don't think that Number one, I don't think Candace would dream that, just because her narcissistic brain wouldn't allow that. But number two, I don't even think she'd have an emotional reaction to it. Like, okay, cool, you cheated on me in my dream. Thanks to both of you, Candace is a mean girl that has not grown up. She is stuck back in high school with all the girls that stay far away from. Lisa, you say everything I'm thinking.
Tyler Boyer's trip to Romania in 2010. He then gets magically elected to the Board of Regents as their student representative at Arizona State University. And then right after, Erika enrolls into the university. And actually, it's even more bizarre how he came about that position. Somebody emailed us and said, no, he didn't go the usual route. The governor of Arizona at the time, Jan Brewer, abnormally just picked Tyler into the position. It's not the normal process. Usually there are votes, but they just went, okay, you. And here's an article, a relic, which shows us that is true. It says governor appoints the new student regent. And within the article, it tells us that that's what happened. Arizona State University student Tyler was appointed as the newest student regent on the Arizona Board of Regents by Governor Jan Brewer last month. A new student regent is selected every year, rotating between the three state universities. The regents are typically selected from recommendations made by a selection committee at the university. Boyer applied directly through the governor's office. Okay, so it was atypical. And like I said, a lot happening at Arizona State University this year. Relatedly, we had received some emails suggesting that Erika's claim that she graduated as a double Bachelor of Science in both international relations from Arizona State University which is what is mentioned on her LinkedIn. There it is, Bachelor of Science, Political Science, and International Relations, and elsewhere on other bios. They said, Candace, not only is that not true, but it's not possible. They claimed that the Bachelor of Science of International Relations was not yet available in 2012 at Arizona State University. So we went back and we decided to search through the archived catalog. And sure enough, so far as we can tell, it's not. It was not available in 2012. It is today. You can become a Bachelor of Science in International Relations today. But back when Erika graduated, this was not an option. We searched international relations. It is a topic they say you will cover. If you choose to major in political science was certainly available. There are other majors where it lists that you will learn about international relations, as is common sense. You can also get a certificate in international studies, but it was not available as a major. And that is one of the claims to fame of Erika. Double majored, getting a doctorate, running a business, also running a charity, doing all of these things, also doing reality TV. It's giving hand of Midas.
Lisa, that seems like something we could track down and either confirm or deny to see if that it's another thing to be debunked or some element there. She gets so much stuff wrong. It's not funny.
The person.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Or it could be possible that that's something that she went back and got later. She's actively talking about how, she's getting her doctorate here while she's doing all these other things. It seems like Erika was continuously in and out of schooling and doing different things with college degrees and stuff off and on for like a significant period of time. So again, yeah, that's something that we'd have to look into for sure. But it's very plausible that she could have like gotten that later on or added that on later on. Like a lot of people end up going back to school for other things after the fact. So
yeah, look, this is I love chunks. I've been against Hamas in Gaza and bomb shelters and Beit Shemesh. Somehow I was happier in those moments than I am listening to Candace. You might think I'm playing, but this is true. No, and I'm not joking when I come on here and say I hate doing this. Like there is something that feels gross about this, that you are engaging. It I don't know, man. It hits you in the soul, and you just feel the evil from this. You feel emotionally and mentally fatigued every time that I sit through one of these, just having to expose myself to this. I think it's something that we need to do. Like I said, I do think it's, especially if, people like me and Lisa that are on the front lines of exposing her, we need to be aware of what's going on. It's just part of the job at this point. And you know what? I'm glad you all are here with us and commenting and making it easier for us. And we appreciate the support and the super chats and all of those things. So I don't know. But I think you're right.
Speaking of Jennifer, Veterans for Truth, she just dropped a comment. She said, yes, this degree was available in 2012 at Arizona State University. Political science degree offered through the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. So it's maybe just, Candace maybe just didn't look in the right spot. But it looks like some of the people in the chat are actually finding it right now.
There you go. That's why we love having you guys. You guys. You know, I want to address something along those lines from yesterday, but we'll keep going. We're gonna muscle through this, and then we'll talk about something much less, I don't know, painful.
Over these past few months, we've all heard her more than we've ever heard from her before. Is just objectively not a genius. So I'm not sure what that's about. There could be a reason for it. There could have been some strange carve out just for Erika. I'm sure there was. But I find all of this happening at the same time to be very strange. Now, we are obviously discussing the relationship between Erika and Tyler, both of them being at the Arizona State University, both of them having been involved in Romania, also during the very years of Jeffrey Epstein, by the way, who, like Tyler, was involved particularly with modeling agencies in Romania. It is also worth noting that the university, Arizona State University, was the #1 university that was mentioned in Jeffrey Epstein's emails, about 3,500 times, paling in comparison to the other universities. I mean, the other universities were paled in comparison to Arizona State University in terms of mentions. It was like 3,500 for
yes,
Arizona
this has
State
been
University,
addressed
and then
like a
second
million
place
times.
was some university that was mentioned.
It's because he donated to have his you know how like donors will fund, I don't know if he was an alumni of there or what, but yes, he donated to have, like, you know how all the alumni will like get their names put on buildings and like different things at universities, or like maybe it was a program that he wanted to have added to the college, so like he funded and donated to the college to have like a program or like a building built, or I don't know all the specifics, but literally he donated to ASU to have something done on the campus again, or like a program done. But it had nothing to do with his trafficking of or abusing of children or women or anything like that. It literally was, he was like a donor of something to the college, which they've already addressed it. And they've already said that they removed him from everything, like since the Epstein files came out and that all came to light. They have like gotten rid of all of that and like issued a massive apology that they were ever associated with him. I believe that was before his charges came to light that they were associated with him, but yeah, anyway.
Yeah. Look, there's this weird phenomenon that is a recent phenomenon where we have traded feelings for facts. And that's what all of this is driven by. It's all driven by emotion. And most of that emotion is driven by false narratives being created. And that's where you hear everybody like, I don't know what's going on, but I feel like there is something weird. And again, those feelings, like we used to be a society, you know, even when I was younger, like people like, nobody cares about your feelings. And now we have to say it. We have to say, there's a saying, F your feelings, right? F your feelings. Well, that's where it should be when we're talking about something like this, where logic and reason should be the basis of our arguments for every bit of this. Logic, reason, and evidence. Like, and none of it applies. Like you have to abandon all of those things for any of this to make sense. And by the way, she's talking about how you know, Erika's not a genius. Who's claiming that Erika's a genius? I don't see anyone saying that she's a genius. That's not the point. What I do see in Erika, I don't think she's a genius. I don't even know if she's like super intelligent. I don't think she's dumb by any stretch of the means. What I see is a woman that works her ass off. I see a woman that every time that she's talking about her, oh, she's doing pageants, she's going to school, she's studying the Bible, she's doing this, she's getting her real estate license, she's working on this project, she's working on this project, she's opening up this business. This is a woman that works her ass off. My God, any man out there with a wife that would work and as industrious as she is, like, it'd be great to have. You know, luckily I am blessed with a wife like that. All right. And I mean that sincerely. She's always doing something. She's always working. But the fact is, it's not about genius. It's about hard work. And that's something that Candace Owens, look, you can look at her life and everything that I've seen so far. She's been given opportunity after opportunity, and she has squandered opportunity after opportunity. She has destroyed her reputation from one place to the next, to the next, to the next. She's the exact opposite of what Erika Kirk is. The exact opposite. And that's what eats her alive. It really is.
I found clarification. So Epstein's connection to ASU was primarily rooted in a financial and professional relationship with Lawrence Krauss, a former ASU physicist and director of the Origins Project between 2010 and 2017. Epstein and his associates donated over $2 million to the Origins Project, which is a program aimed at promoting scientific discourse. So that was his connection to ASU.
So I pulled this up the other day because this came up the other day. Jeffrey Epstein clearly had some connections with ASU. Guess what other colleges he had connections with? Harvard University, MIT.
I was going to say Harvard. Yeah, there's literally a picture of him at Harvard.
MIT, Columbia University, Bard College. Other institutions include Yale, Stanford, UCLA, the University of Arizona, and Duke University, University of Maryland. So when you just point because it's convenient for your narrative at the moment, you say, oh, well, Epstein had something going on at ASU. Guess what? It is a lie by omission for you to not include the fact that he was associated and had business dealings with all of these other universities as well, because that doesn't help support your narrative. You don't include that. You're a liar, and that's what liars do. Inconvenient truths.
Mentioned 100 times. Now, it had already been discovered even prior to the email dump that Jeffrey Epstein had given money to Arizona State University, $250,000 of his own money, plus over $2 million through various associates of his. He started giving to Arizona State University. Listen to me. Jeffrey Epstein began giving to Arizona State University in December of 2010. Just a couple of months before Tyler gets elected to the Board of Regents, just a couple of months after Tyler gets back from Romania. And Jeffrey Epstein donates through what is known as the Origins Project, a project for space exploration. You might be new here, but I keep telling you guys about NASA. And what happened with Operation Paperclip? And they said, these scientists are going to get us to space. And I said, no, they weren't. They were a bunch of pervs, and our CIA transported them from places like Vienna throughout Germany and brought them here and then told us they were actually genius scientists when they were not. They were harming children and developing the Monarch program, the precursor to MK Ultra. Anyway, I've said that so many times, I know that you already have it in your mind, but it's interesting that of all the things Jeffrey Epstein is giving to a space project, we did not go to the moon. Parking that aside. He is giving there. Okay, Tyler visits Romania just before Tyler is hand selected by the governor. We got it. Fast forward to let's actually go past Erika's crown year of 2012. And Erika, you are going to see, begins pursuing fame hard. There is no person who can look into Erika's life and make the claim that she was not trying to be famous. As I have said, I don't know any women who have never dated a guy that was normal. Like everybody that Erika dates has some degree of fame and publicity already in their lives, and that clearly attracts her. And that just is Erika's life. It's a fact of Erika's life. And like I said, she lies all the time. So ahead of us jumping back into the timeline, I would like to remind you of the story she tells regarding why she was traveling internationally, specifically to China. I want you to listen to what she says about why she traveled to China. Take a listen.
I decided to create something called Everyday Heroes Like You, where we're able to, originally, it was focused on bringing funds and awareness to various grassroots organizations that were in specific communities that would be able to have volunteers that are transparent with their funds, that are actually doing what they're saying they're doing, instead of just having 70% of the funds go to admin and only 30% towards the cause.
Hey, real quick, Lisa, there was somebody in our group, the people that we all follow. I think it might have been Britta. I don't remember who it was. I was thinking it was Nate Livingstone, but it wasn't him. The other day, she talked about how the government finished writing his book or wrote his book, and it just happened to come out after his death. And then she also, whoever made that video also showed the multiple times that Charlie Kirk had mentioned his book and told us what it was about, specifically about honoring Shabbat. Did you see that video? And do you know who?
I can look and find out for sure. But yeah, I mean, as someone who avidly watched Charlie,
Yes.
he started talking about it like a year in advance. He also talked about how he worked with Dennis Prager to do research on the book. He started talking about that, yeah, like way before it. And I think one of the interviews that I remember watching him that he did on a podcast, I want to say it was in like August. He literally said that he was submitting his final edits.
Yeah, and he
for
was
the book. So
and he mentioned, I think it was like in October, on his podcast, talking to Blake Neff. Hey, I'm almost done with this. I got to put together an editor group because I'm done. I'm done with this book. That was like in October. I'm sorry, like June. I'm sorry, a couple months before he was killed. And so, anyways, like that's where that was. And there's plenty, but whoever put that together, strung together all the times that he mentioned it in different, video segments, whether it was on his own show, on other people's podcasts, on, group talks. They did a good job. I can't believe it. I thought I shared it, but I can't find it.
So really just focusing on making sure there was a home for transparent organizations that people could learn about, get involved with. But from there, it kind of grew into something more global. I was living in China and doing a lot of work with the victims from sex trafficking, and then began to phase that into working with the Marine Corps and the Army, and then was able to work with a orphanage in Romania.
Okay, so there's no mistaking what she says, and she repeats it over and over again that she lived in China and she was living in China to work with victims of sex trafficking. This is one of the early questions that I had for Erika. Who were you working with in China? And thanks to a clip that we're going to show you later of her auditioning for The Amazing Race, she actually narrows it down and says that she was in Chongqing. I think I'm saying that right. It might be Chongqing. Well, the truth is that helped me realize why she was actually in China, helping victims of sex trafficking. No, the truth is that Erika was just following her boyfriend. I kind of view this as her groupie year. Her boyfriend at the time is Josh Harrelson. Josh Harrelson is playing for the Miami Heat. Okay, so you got a basketball player who was in his prime, and he is dating the Arizona beauty queen. And I would also like to note that this is 2013. So we are 5 years before she met Charlie. In the future, she'll say she didn't date anybody, but no, she certainly dated people. Erika had a boyfriend, like I told you, every year, actually. And far from this deeply Christian story that she's going to spin in the future, she not only had a boyfriend, but she's following him around the world. She's living with him. And again, I'm not here to judge Erika for living with her boyfriend. I have lived with my boyfriend in the past. But I am not sitting here pretending that I didn't do that. That's what's so strange. It's just the amount of lies. I'm not pretending I had no boyfriends before I met my husband. What is the purpose of these lies? That is what we should be frustrated by. What is the purpose? This is why it feels like ChatGPT Christianity, like someone did the program thing again, the algorithm.
I guess it's a good thing that Erika Kirk has never said that either. This is literally all coming from the candy cult psychos online who are trying to hold Erika to like this saint status, that they've made her into this like whatever. She never made any of these claims. She said that she did not do the New York dating scene when she was living in Manhattan, meaning I don't date people who live in the city or associate with this city. That doesn't mean that she's not dating people outside of the city. Notice how her boyfriends were all from the Midwest or from California or from other places. She never dated anyone from New York City that was in the city scene because she didn't jive with their lifestyles is essentially
during that
what
time,
she
she
was
was, I think she was dating an athlete from Michigan at one point, and then another time she was dating an athlete in California, if I remember correctly. She wasn't dating, she wasn't part of the New York dating scene, and that's exactly what she's saying. And you have to completely misconstrue it and just twist it and turn it into your own narrative if that's what you want to do. But that's what you have to do, and you have to do it dishonestly. And again, her followers just lap it up. Yep, she lied. She lied. She said she wasn't dating at all. No, that's not what she said. She said she wasn't part of the New York dating scene.
It's what they do with the drinking thing too, because she said, I don't drink because I don't find it to be productive. They will then twist that into that she never drank alcohol. I don't drink because it's not productive is not the same statement as I've never drank. That's not what she's saying. She's not saying she never drank in her entire life. She's saying that she doesn't currently drink and hasn't for a couple of years because she doesn't find it to be productive. Those are not the same statements. Yeah. I didn't date in New York while living in the city is not the same as I never dated before I met Charlie Kirk. Like, good Lord, people.
Yeah.
And we need you to fit Charlie's world. Okay, let's say no guys for 5 years. No, never. Oh gosh, no. Christian one would never date a guy, live with him. Say like, your mother taught you Christianity. My mother taught me Christianity. No, your mother allowed your boyfriends to live in the house too and have sleepovers. What? That's like the opposite of coming from a deeply faithful Christian household. Letting the boyfriend sleep in the house with your daughter is like, so I would never in a million years allow my daughter to have her boyfriend sleep over. It's wild.
Where do we have proof of this? Where is she pulling this from?
My daughter is 3, but I just had to get that off my chest.
Well, yeah, I've never heard that stated anywhere.
That came out of left field.
Yeah. I don't know what's behind that, but I'd be curious to find out if that was ever stated. And look, there's ways that could be. There's ways that could be done to where it's not as bad as she makes it sound. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but regardless, it has nothing to do with the fact that Erika Kirk killed Charlie Kirk, which is what I thought we were going to find out at the end of
it. But I mean, and she's mocking her Christianity and all of this. And one of the things that she did in one of her previous episodes, remember, was the lost years. Where did Erika go? That whole thing. And she was like, oh, she locked herself in her room to read the Bible for 8 months. But then she shows that podcast clip with what's her name? Steele. I can't remember her name. Where she talked about how it wasn't until I think she said 2016 or no, maybe like the year before that she really dialed in and actually read the Bible cover to cover, like fully and completely with the help of I think she said a pastor's wife, right? That like she invested in her, met with her, and they did that or whatever. And she was like mocking, like, oh, so you lock yourself in your room and that's not reading the Bible. And I'm like, Kate, saying that you're studying the Bible is not the same as saying that I'm literally reading it cover to cover. Those are two different statements. Again, we're twisting statements and like giving them meaning that they don't mean, which is extremely annoying. But like she's mocking her Christianity. Erika's literally telling you in that interview that she does with that woman, she says, this was the first time that I literally sat down and I actually understood the Bible for the first time in my life, sitting there reading it cover to cover, and like truly started a real relationship with Christ. She's mentioned many times, even though I grew up going to Catholic school and going to mass and doing all these things, it didn't really fully click until I was older and had more of a Protestant perspective. I had this pastor's wife that was, again, investing in me and, all of that. So again, we don't know where she was in her faith journey, but it seems like she's talking about 2013 right now. I'm going to go out on a limb and tell you that in 2013, Erika wasn't a very invested Christian. It doesn't seem like she had much of that really like as the priority in her life. That came later. And if you listen to Erika's testimony, she has said all of this a million times. Candace just doesn't want to listen to what she's saying, or she wants to manipulate what she's saying.
Yeah. And I said this the other day. It's like they'll take that and say, oh, well, She didn't even say that she was eating there during that time. Like, she, they'll take anything and make it so ridiculous and go to the most absurd argument. They pull a straw man out of the hat every single time to turn it into something that it's not. But, again, it's what she does. And it's what her viewers expect.
Future, because I'm on one today. So I'm freaking out for future. Anyway, back into the timeline, 2013, we have, Erika begins dating Josh Harrelson.
All right.
That is very much.
I want to have full attention to this timeline. So I'm going to go through some super chats real fast. From what I found online, the student regent is appointed by the governor. Her info was wrong. No surprise there. Just tuning in. Very cool to see Fred Durst guest hosting.
Thanks.
No, he's talking about me because I had my hat on backwards.
I was like, what? Are you trying to tell me I look like a man? Thank you, I guess.
No. Jason Adelman, $99. Man, thank you very much, buddy. I've never seen you in the chat before, Jason. So welcome, and we appreciate your support. All right, let's pay attention to this timeline.
She's on one today. No, Candace, you're on one every day. What are we talking about right now?
Evidenced by her saved tweets. It's all over. That is who Big George 55 was or is. You can see the dates here. She started dating him actually in 2012. So during her actual crown year. And we can go back to our timeline here and you can see that what happens in 2013 is he begins playing for Puerto Rico. So he joins the Brujos de Guayama in mid-January. That's the team. And then you can see also, look what he joins, the Chongqing Flying Dragons. So he goes from Miami Heat to Puerto Rico, which she will mention in the future that she goes. I traveled the world. I was doing all of this work for charities. No, you're following your boyfriend. This is regular groupie stuff.
Why can't both be true? Like, I don't understand.
Crazy concept that two things can be true at the same time. She's still running a lot of her charities for Miss Arizona at this time. Because she was Miss Arizona in 2012. This is 2013. So you're coming right off of her having the crown. So she's still involved in a lot of those charities and programs that they start in pageantry, right? And then, he just so happens to be traveling at the same time. So she's probably making it so that her work things and his stuff line up so that they can see each other. That's pretty typical of people that have long distance relationships. That's pretty standard.
Crazy.
Okay, this is not that complicated. Stop pretending you're some master of all these businesses. Anyway, back into the...
real quick, I missed one of other Jason's. Jason, thank you very much. I have a cred source who believes from a birdie. Owens is planning to link a comment she made regarding child marriage a few days ago with Epstein allegations to sink Republicans in midterms. I have no doubt about that, Jason. We've been talking about that. That's the real psyop behind all of this. That this whole thing is really about destroying the conservative party and making sure that I definitely would like to hear from you. You can send me, if you have some more information on that, love it. DL podcast at ParamountTactical.com, DL podcast at ParamountTactical.com. And once again, man, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Paramount family. And we appreciate your support, Jason.
Timeline, when from early June to August, she is going to move, her words, not mine, to China to follow and live with her boyfriend. And I want to note that this was one of the questions early on that I asked Justin Strife. I said, when did she live in China? Why was she living in China? And he came back and he said, and I want to be clear, I don't think Justin Strife was lying. Didn't strike me as someone who would be dumb enough to lie. Forget whether or not he's moral. Is he dumb? And my answer is no, Justin Strife is not an idiot. So this is what her new story is that she did not live in China. And he wrote back to me on January 12th that Erika did not live in China. From June 16th to June 30th, she just visited China. She saw major sites and she visited the Great Wall. Again, I'm not here to pick a side in Erika versus Erika, okay? But she very clearly says she lived in China. And the answer is she was obviously there longer because she was there from June all the way through until at least August, early August, which happens to match the exact dates that her boyfriend was there. Why the lies? Why the lies? For who? Anyway, she will also, which we're not going to show you because I think it's been overdone, she'll post a video of her promoting Romanian Angels. And in that video, she thanks Colonel Otto Buscher in particular. Again, he is going to be accused of running a brothel, a Romanian brothel with children on the base. And so, again, it's everyone around her, I guess. And she has all of these connections, I guess. And we have no idea what her mom does with AC Tech, I guess.
That is an excellent question. I also saw somebody else ask me if this was the last in the series. I don't know. Originally, I think it was supposed to be a 3-part series. Here we are at part 7, and I'm sure she's going to keep it going or move on to something else. I don't know what she's doing, folks. I have no idea where we're at in all this.
Yes, or why she's getting all this money. Also, I just put in some facts that I think are good for people to know. That this year, the Romanian government establishes the National Office for Gambling Games in April. And we know the Black Sea Rotational Force is going to be deployed for 6 months again. This will be...
I have said this from the beginning. This is the exact same formula that the Democrats used against Trump. They took everything that he did out of context. They twisted everything that he said. They pulled out all this fake history, tried to tell you that he was an evil person. This is the exact same formula that was used to smear Trump during his first term. Same exact tactics.
BSRF 13. They kind of name it after the year it is, from February to August, as a Special Purpose Marine Air Ground Task Force. Okay. I call 2014 the year of fake it till you make it. Okay, so we are going to learn that Erika is living in Venice, California, and there's actually no purpose for her to be doing that unless we look through her actions, and it's very clear she's trying to make it in Hollywood. Now, there is a clip of her sitting down with her best friend, Tracy Martin, on a talk show. Something that I noted that is interesting is a woman named Diane Burnett likes the post. And that is, in fact, Mark Burnett's wife, okay? Mark Burnett being the person who created Survivor, the person who is going to create the reality show that Erika is on, the person that's also running Donald Trump's show that he was on, The Apprentice. Like, he's the creator of so much reality TV. And so there's an indication here that, again, we're going to see all of these paths crossing because it's also the year that Johnny Moore is going to leave Liberty University and start the Kairos company with Andrew. Johnny Moore is working for Mark Burnett. There is a chance that in 2014, again, Erika and Andrew Colvett would have crossed paths. That would make sense. They know the same people. More relevant, however, is Lori Franzwey, because she gets introduced on the floor in Arizona, on the congressional floor, because she has David Farnsworth sponsoring a bill. She's doing this panic stuff. There could be an EMP event, and we have to get prepared for an EMP event that could happen, electromagnetic pulses. And here is what me and my husband, Larry Ginta, recommend that you do. And it's G-Tech Industries. I think she's a used car salesman. I'm going to be honest with you. It seems like, to me, when I observe everything, it's a group of people working together to get money from the government, and they all know each other. And so Lori is introduced by Terrell Farnsworth's family. Terrell Farnsworth, the guy that takes down the cameras. This is his family. He, like I told you in previous episodes, grew up with Tyler Boyer. Their families have been friends, Mormon families, for generations. Okay, it's like they all know each other, and they're just like, we got to get this money. Okay, you're going to pretend like you're a tech genius, Lori. And she's like, sustainability. I love sustainability, and words. And you're going to present, and I'm going to put together a vote, and the Farnsworths are going to vote, and we're going to get this money, honey. That's Lori to me. Lori gives me scam artist. I got to say it. I'm on one. Everything about her, I'm seeing a scammer on the corner trying to sell me CDs, you know?
She has said this or made disparaging remarks similar to this about Lori, and not one time have I seen anything that's compelling to let me know that Lori is dishonest is doing anything nefarious or anything else. She showed that she had a bunch of LLCs. Like, there's a lot of folks out there with a bunch of LLCs. Who cares? She's an entrepreneur. She's got to be.
I'm sorry, but if you are fraudulently taking money from people, if you are laundering money, if you are stealing money, scamming people, all of this stuff, like, you don't have that long of a career with that many decades of like supposedly doing this without somebody somewhere having a lawsuit against you. Or again, she should be able to show ample documentation that this is the case. If this happened, like, so for example, I grew up in a small town in Illinois. There was a guy that I went to school with. He's actually famous now. There was a guy that I went to school with. His dad did that. He ended up embezzling a bunch of money from a bunch of his clients. He had a company and he stole a bunch of money from his clients. Guess what? The whole town knew that his dad had stolen all this money from these clients. And it was a whole thing. He actually served jail time for it eventually. But it was like a huge scandal within our town. If Lori was doing this, there would be people talking about it. There would be, again, lawsuits. There would be ample documentation that this has happened. You cannot do that. That's not something that you can do for decades and just get away with that. That's not how that works.
Yeah. Look, and that's the thing, is like, she's never showed us once. She talks about things that she brings up. She says she feels like this is dishonest. She throws a lot of inference in there with no facts involved whatsoever, and then just keeps bringing it up. And there again, if you're a low IQ listener or viewer, at the end of this, you're just going to sit there and be like, oh, yep, she's right. Lori's done all kinds of weird stuff. She's definitely dishonest. You repeat a lie enough, people start to believe it. And that's what she's done throughout this. This is the entire series has not been about Erika. It's been directed 100% toward Lori Francais, her mother. And we just discussed earlier why that is. Because when she sat down with Erika, she saw a vulnerability and she decided to attack that vulnerability. And that vulnerability is her mother. And man, it's disgusting. I got no words for it. I really don't.
Like, they're just outside, they got a black plastic bag and they're like, oh, let me sell you these DVDs. You know, they come into the hair salon, they're selling you bootleg DVDs. That's Lori in the story. She's bootlegging. And
Lori's bootlegging. Like, what do you have to support that?
And so Lori is introduced by Terrell Farnsworth's family. Terrell Farnsworth, the guy that takes down the cameras. This is his family. He, like I told you in previous episodes, grew up with Tyler Boyer. Their families have been friends, Mormon families, for generations. Okay, it's like they all know each other and they're just like, we got to get this money. Okay, you're going to pretend like you're David Farnsworth sponsoring a bill. She's doing this panic stuff. There could be an EMP event. And we have to get.
Did she just say that Tyler's Mormon?
EMP event that could happen.
Yes. No, not Tyler. Farnsworth, I believe. Hold on.
Yeah, but she said he grew up with Tyler Boyer's family, and she said like these Mormon. What did she say? These Mormon families. It's all about money. Or something.
I wanted to hear exactly what she had to say about Lori one more time about bootlegging CD.
And my husband Larry Guinta recommend that you do, and it's G-Tech Industries. I think she's a used car salesman. I'm going to be honest with you. It seems like, to me, when I observe everything, it's a group of people working together to get money from the government, and they all know each other. And so Lori is introduced by Terrell Farnsworth's family. Terrell Farnsworth, the guy that takes down the cameras. This is his family. He, like I told you in previous episodes, grew up with Tyler Boyer. Their families have been friends, Mormon families, for generations. Okay, it's like they all know each other and they're just like, we got to get this money. Okay, you're going to pretend like you're a tech genius, Lori. And she's like, sustainability. I love sustainability and words. And you're going to present and I'm going to put together a vote and the Farnsworths are going to vote and we're going to get this money, honey. That's Lori to me. Lori gives me scam artist. I got to say it. I'm on one. Everything about her, I'm seeing a scammer on the corner trying to sell me CDs, you know? Like they're just outside, they got a black plastic bag and they're like, "Oh, let me sell you this DVD."
She's disgusting. I mean, just disgusting.
Oh, goodness. It's just, again, we don't have anything to back or support, like anything that's coming out of her mouth, which, again, if this stuff was true, this should be very easy to verify and show actual documentation, right? Like,
Just I mean, everything is just so made up. It is fabricated out of the air. There's nothing to support this whatsoever, and she's just attacking a dying woman that can't defend herself. It's you talk about somebody that this should be illegal. All right, forget about civil lawsuits and everything. This should be illegal. I'm sorry, when you attack somebody like this, I'm all about the First Amendment, but this should be illegal. For her to be able to just go on and broadcast this smear campaign to millions of people, that I don't know.
These, you know, they come into the hair salon, they're selling you bootleg DVDs. That's Lori in the story. That's Lori in the story. She's bootlegging. And she has actual people that are working, the Farnsworth family that's helping her do that. And that is why Eddie Farnsworth, who also votes to pass her resolution and also is of Terrell Farnsworth's family, camera guy, that's why he's going to get accused in the future. He makes tens of millions of dollars off of charter schools. There are all these articles. Look up Eddie Farnsworth and the charter school, and they all started saying, hey, he's scamming. He's taking all this government money. Like, this seems like their true family business. Make up something that you do, say it's important, get a bunch of money from the Department of Homeland Security, from the DOD, but in reality, it's like a political mafia working together to scam taxpayers. That's what he gets accused of, Eddie Farnsworth. That's what you got accused of. There's tons of articles. And crucially, the Boyers, the Farnsworth, the Franzfays, the Colbets, they're all just vibing around each other at all times. And what happens crucially is that Tyler Boyer is going to meet Charlie Kirk this year. It is.
All right. A lot of people are saying Tyler Boyer is indeed Mormon, for the record.
well, like people are saying that he left the Mormon church. Some people are saying he's still a part of the Mormon. I'm not getting like an exact read. People are kind of saying a bunch of different things. Either way, I mean, that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. I just have never heard that before, so I thought that was interesting. But, yeah.
It's going to take a lawsuit. IB Pilot, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. It was great seeing you the other day in the shop. I couldn't agree more. She keeps asking why Erika is not bringing up old boyfriends. I tell stories about my past that involved other boyfriends, but I do not mention that boyfriend because I am married with children. Why bring up the boyfriend? Yeah, like I'd be super ticked if we're sitting around, you know, friends. And by the way, I would be angry if my wife brought up her old boyfriends. But let me tell you something. I would be murdered in front of everybody if I brought up old girlfriends. I wouldn't be leaving that gathering.
Oh, my
I would just see a bottle smashed over my face or something. Yeah, out of respect for your.
Yeah, that's just weird. Like once you're married, like you don't really like go through all of this. But again, anybody who doesn't think that Charlie didn't do intensive background into Erika before he started dating her, and definitely before he married her, I would say that you don't know anything about Charlie Kirk, first of all, because I never met the man personally, and I can tell you, he absolutely deep dove her before he got involved with her at all. Guaranteed. With everything that he had going on with Turning Point, all of the stuff that he... Like, there's no way he was going to jeopardize all of that. And again, he had to marry a very specific type of individual with a certain set of skills, a certain set of, you know, all of the things.
Personality traits, a background.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the entertainment training and the media training that she had, that absolutely played a part in being a part of his lifestyle. Like, he couldn't just marry anyone. He had to marry a very specific person that could fit into his crazy, insane lifestyle, right?
I mean,
and
honestly, if you sat back and like created the perfect wife for Charlie, you'd come up with Erika.
Yeah, I mean, really absolutely.
I mean, just objectively speaking.
I did send you a clip. So Ben found the clip of Charlie talking about the book. So I sent that to you if you wanted it.
Yep, I do. We'll play this a little bit more, and then we'll play that in just a minute.
Still not clear to me how they met, but we can state that Tyler is the chairman at that time of the Maricopa County Republican Committee, and Eddie Farnsworth is on that committee, and David Farnsworth is on that committee. So here is Eddie Farnsworth on that committee. And yeah, you got the Farnsworth clan again. They grew up together. They're all Chandler, Arizona, went to the same high schools. Your mom, my dad. It's giving Mormon mafia. Okay. And look up the Farnsworth family. They're a very powerful family in Mormon world. Roots down into Mexico. They've been around since day one of the LDS Mormon Church. I know that some people say it's now LDS. Forgive me for not being brushed up on that. Anyway, I just find that very interesting that Eddie Farnsworth is getting accused of robbing taxpayers to enrich himself. And we know that Erika's family is involved with charter schools. It's just kind of right in our face, I feel. In March, we know that Erika is going to begin dating somebody else, and his name is JT Massey, and he's a minor league baseball player. She's not dating nobodies, okay? She wants to know what you're going to do. He's playing with the Colorado Rockies, and together they are going to try out for the Amazing Race. And I am going to let you listen to that. Erika is living and working in California, and he is living in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And here's a little bit of their tape.
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning, America.
I've lived in China. I've lived in Chongqing. I've been to Romania. I've been to Croatia. Lived in Puerto Rico for a little bit. Really handsome.
You look gorgeous. Are you fixing my... I got a little bacon. Babe, that's deep in there. Give them a cleavage. People want cleavage. Showcase it.
Sex sells, babe.
Sex sells. That's me.
That's against our religion.
It's not. It's within the confines of marriage.
I don't... We need...
What? We're checking the light? Oh, okay. Yeah, we're checking the light. Roll camera one. Hi, I'm JT Massey. I'm 25 years old from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm a minor league baseball player with the Colorado Rockies, and I'm going to be racing with my girlfriend.
Hi, I'm Erika Franze. I'm 25 years old from Scottsdale, Arizona, and I currently live in Venice, California.
So March 1st, we went on our first date.
Well, I got it wrong because I thought it was the day before, and I called him and I was like, hi, so I'm going to be running late for our date. And he's like, actually, it's tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sitting at dinner with my dad in Arizona, and I'm like, did I mess up the date or what? End up standing up from the table to call her, and she messed up the date.
I did. So we went to Maggiano's.
Yeah, it worked out.
It was good.
We went to Maggiano's. I picked her up. It was raining.
It was
kind of different night in Arizona, and picked her up at her house, and later met her mom on the first night.
It's a big deal for the
Exciting
first
stuff.
night.
Yeah, I'm not trying to scare her off or anything.
Yeah, I'm sure she did meet Lori. Lori's always lurking in the corner.
Oh my
She's a
God.
pusher. I said Lori's a pusher. And I want to be clear.
She also lied the other day saying that Erika first met Charlie at an airport and Lori pushed her toward that. I don't know where that story came from. I've never heard that before until that episode. And when we clearly see both Charlie and Erika explaining exactly how they met. NCRO Latide here said, just because she doesn't understand Lori's company doesn't mean they aren't legit. Real quick, I did find the exact clip that I was looking for, and it was this one right here. I'm going to share this tab real quick. And let's play Candace's version of this first.
Okay. My Charlie wanted you to read. He just finished it. This is the book my Charlie wanted you to read. He just finished it. He loves the Jews. He just finished speaking about how much he loves to Shabbat and to Shalom and to say daddy's home and to throw down his phone, Barry Weiss. It's just incredible when you think about it all coming together. Who are you, Erika Kirk?
Very, very good. So I love those books. And by the way, I have another book coming out. Should be in December. I still need to put an editing team and committee together. So Blake, you're going to have some work on your hands But it's called Stop in the Name of God, Why Honoring the Shabbat Will Transform Your Life. Thank you, Brett. God bless you, man. Come and stay a life. Very, very good. So I love those books. And by the way, I have another book coming out. Should be in December. I still need to put an editing team and committee together. So Blake, you're gonna have some work on your hands. But it's called.
Really bothers me
there you
about
go.
this. Like, yeah, I'm noticing the pattern that everybody's kind of famous, but nothing objectively bothers me about her joking around with her boyfriend, cute, hanging out, doing whatever. This is all actually normal for a 25-year-old girl.
Like, I just want to mention too, look, there's about 20 other clips going way back before then where he's talking about starting the book, the importance of Shabbat, and how that he's started practicing Shabbat, that he's putting his phone away late Friday afternoon. He talked about it multiple times on his own. He talked about it with his wife. He talked about how he was writing the book, why it was important to him, and that he's started observing the Jewish Sabbath. So that's where that came from. And for her to sit here and make a mockery of it the way that she does with everything, pretty, number one, it's just factually false. I mean, none of us are surprised by any of that, but
I mean, I don't know how people don't pick up on the fact that she's just straight up like laughing at Charlie. She's mocking him. She's ridiculing him. She's degrading him. She does this constantly. And I'm just sitting there being like, all these people that are touting her as like the best thing since sliced bread. And I'm like, yeah, she loved Charlie. She was his best friend. She's the only one who wants the truth. And I'm like, she's literally mocking and degrading him for millions on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? But as for this whole thing with she's noticing that Erika's ex-boyfriends were not just anybody, right? Like, these are important people. She was literally Miss Arizona, guys. Like, I don't know how many times we have to tell you that she was Miss Arizona, and that absolutely plays a factor here. Yeah, she's gonna have like her choice of the dating pool. Also, I don't know if you've looked at Erika, but like, she's not bad to look at. So between the fact that she's not bad to look at and the fact that she was literally Miss Arizona, she's going to have the selection of pretty much any guy that she would ever want to date. So yeah, that includes basketball players, baseball players, whoever it is. And I think it's funny that she says that she only chose Charlie because of money and wanting fame and all this stuff. You look at her past dating history, Charlie was not what her past dating history was at all. He was not an athlete. He was not any of the, like, he was completely different. He was the complete opposite of everybody she had ever been with before. And she mentions this about like how they met, right? She said that when he talked about dating her, it totally threw her off because he just was not like what she thought. And also she just wasn't looking for that at that time in her life, right? And all of that. But that's what tells me that I'm like, God absolutely, I believe, brought Erika and Charlie together because it wasn't what she would have picked for herself. It doesn't fit the mold of the type of guys that she typically dated before. He was completely different and totally left field for what was like normal or standard for her leading up to that. And so that fits exactly how Erika has described it, and the way that she gives the story, that fits actually. So Candace is once again just helping to support Erika here, if I had to say so.
Yeah, and this is, iRule says it, this is completely true. I've verified this with people that I've had on the show that, you know, going months back had alternative theories, to say the least, and are now pushing, I mean, just all this hatred toward Erika and everything else. Like, these are people that did not follow Charlie before. A lot of them were not conservatives or not conservatives. They did not follow Charlie at all before all this took place. They know nothing about Charlie. The only thing they know is what they're told by Candace and her other surrogates. So that's the view they have of Charlie. That's the view they have of Erika. They just don't know. Or they're also a bunch of people like Ian Carroll, like Ryan Mata, like a lot of these other people that hated Charlie and were doing the exact same, everything they're saying about Erika now, they were saying about Charlie when he was alive. And then they just switched focus after he was killed. So, I mean, it's all fake. It really is. I mean, it's so fake, and it's such an obvious psychological operation, misinformation campaign, disinformation campaign, information campaign, whatever you want to call it, false narratives. It is all lies. It's all lies. And it's so silly and obvious that it's disappointing that more people can't see through it.
Young woman, it's not what she's doing. It's what she's telling us that she did in the future. That is what is problematic. I want to make that clear over and over again. There's nothing wrong to me about them speaking back and forth, making jokes, trying to be funny. It's how she will pretend none of this ever happened when she hits the Christian button. The Christian button when she meets Charlie. That's what bothers me about this. And no one just didn't date anybody. She really liked this guy, by the way. There's evidence that they were even engaged. And so her whole demeanor is just so different from the person that she becomes with Charlie. And we're supposed to believe that that's authentic. It's like you can become a godly woman and still have a personality and still have the person that we're seeing there. And yet everything is just so rehearsed and weird, and she can't get out a sentence without saying, this is what God ordained and I'm biblical. It's very strange. It actually feels haunted. Like it feels haunted to me. Anyway, I can also show you, because like I said, this was the year where she was just like, I got to get famous somehow. She also auditions for
No, first of all, if there's evidence that they were engaged, why aren't you showing that? Where's that evidence? Number two, it looks like the difference between somebody that is a wife and somebody that is a girlfriend. That's what, and by the way, when she's with Charlie, she seems more mature. Seems like she is more, actually exercising her faith. That's what it looks like to me. We've all been there. Like, if you saw me at 20 years old versus 25, 30, 35 years old, there's a huge difference. I hope. I can tell you for sure there is. But
I don't know what happened, but I can't hear you all of a sudden. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? You can't hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Everything went silent.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2.
Should I go out and come back in?
Maybe.
Okay, let me try that real quick.
Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me. Let me know. All right. So it was her for some reason. All right. So she's coming back in. Cool. Yeah. I mean, again, making something out of nothing. Normal progression is people. And now it's fake and it's rehearsed. And
this show, which we think is Diane von Furstenberg, had a show called House of DVF. It's fashion, which ran for 2 seasons from 2014 to 2015. And Erika auditions for that as well. Take a listen.
Tell me about your experiences in fashion.
I did not go to fashion school, but I am self-taught. So I graduated with political science and international relations. And although that background to some might seem a little bit foreign to the fashion world, I think that it's actually very helpful, because fashion is international and you have to understand people, because the consumer is what's buying your product. And if you are able to create a line or a brand that embodies international aspects, whether that be art, architecture, anything that's different with the fabrics and the feel of the brand and the line, that draws people to it. And so for me, I'm looking at this from a pragmatic business standpoint. Although I don't know how to sew and cut, I mean, I can sew a pillow together, but I can't take fabrics and create this couture dress. That's not me. But I'm able to see design. I'm able to pick up on certain things and be able to put things together. So for me, not necessarily having formal training, I would rather learn from people and individuals than from textbooks. I even had that life experience with my family. I come from a bloodline of entrepreneurs, and I learned from my mom, how to basically run a company.
Lisa, can you hear me now?
I can now. That was super weird. It's like it cut out and then just didn't come back. So I don't know.
Strange.
But we're good now.
All right, good.
And that's how I was able to formulate my nonprofit. And that's what also made me change my major, because originally I was business.
She's just like, what do I have to be? I don't know how to sew. I don't know how to cut. I don't know. I don't even know about that. But like, oh, I want to be on a show. Whether it's The Amazing Race, whether it's House of DVF, I don't know how these two things speak to each other. I want to be on a show. And again, she's 25 at this time. So, I mean, really, this is not her early 20s, right? This is actually like stuff that you might expect to see 18, 19, 20. This is a little further on, 25 years old. But this is who she was. This is who Erika was at this time. She was auditioning for everything. And eventually she's going to get the part for Charlie's wife. Also, I just want to honorably mention this because I'd like to track her, but in a look ahead post for 2014, she mentions on X that she is going to be again in Romania, in Laos, in Kazakhstan, in the Philippines, in Sweden. She says, okay, 2014, I see you. And then someone probably asked her where she was going to be in Sweden, and she replies to them. So did she go to all of those places? Maybe. We will see. Are we in 2014 into our timeline, or are we saving that for next week? Or am I over time right now? Okay, so we will probably have to do the rest because I see that I'm going over time because I think I was in a mood today. I'd like to apologize. We'll be right back after break. Let's talk about something most of us have never even heard in place to resolve your tax problem. $100 a month. These are the questions that I have. Salary-based mortgage act, that we were shown all of these images of Lori on social media, and I felt like it was trying to seed us with the idea that Lori should.
All right, let's hit some super chats before we close this out the last little bit. We got from her. Thank God that train wreck is coming to an end. Gary sent a video to X messages. I'll check that out, Ben. Vote midterms in Arizona, and it's so important to tell everyone. Absolutely. I mean, my God, get involved with TPUSA. That's the perfect. Wyoming Gal 64. Candace has made me impressed with Lori. She started communication, cybersecurity companies, and got government contracts. Very impressive. I agree. The intensity of her head and eye movements when she is watching a clip of Erika talk is the same as when I ask my dog if it wants to go outside.
My Atlanta.
Indeed.
Just like at death's door.
You'll have to
I'm
laugh. I mean,
not
you have to laugh or
sure
you'll just
how
cry.
true
At this
that is.
point.
I'll wait for Erika to make.
It's watching insanity.
I mean, literally, even that interview clip that she showed, I'm like, what is wrong with this? Like, there's nothing wrong with this. Like and again, if you would just listen to the words of Erika Kirk herself, she has gone over all of this a million times. She has said, it is part of my testimony that I was a boss babe. I was very career driven. I was taught not to be reliant on a man. And all of those things. It wasn't until I met Charlie that all of that completely shifted, and my values and my beliefs and my views on all of this changed.
Shifted God and family. She said that.
Literally, yeah, she has said this so many times. I went over this with Zach in our debate too, and I was like, if you would just listen to the woman talk about her life, she literally tells you all of this herself.
Yeah.
A statement because I see the trap of what they're doing. They want you to think something, and they're going to say, well, we never said that. We were just showing some curated images. And who's filming these images, by the way? Who's filming these images and choosing to post this onto social media, and why? What is driving that decision? These are the questions that I have when I look at the timeline that we have put together, and I see where Lori's got her sticky fingers in, and what Erika's doing, and how she'll do anything to like protect her mom. I don't like the vibes. The vibes are not vibing for me. I want to read you guys this comment. I think it was a comment that was from yesterday's episode. It was about Romania. I'm going to read this to you guys. It says, Candace, I'm from Romania, and this episode was extremely important to me because you talked about my country. I'm a living witness of the so-called 1989 revolution. I witnessed the horrid so-called trial of the Ceausescu couple, and I remember vividly how shocked we were when they executed them right on Christmas Day. I remember my mother saying, oh my God, this country will be cursed, and I will pray dearly for this murder, especially since it happened on Christmas Day. We are a Christian country, an Orthodox Christian country with a very faithful population. Their execution was absolutely horrific. They were old, close to 80 years old, and they should have at least let them die in prison instead of shooting them like animals. The cruelty of that killing has haunted our country for years. General Gika Popa committed suicide right after being forced to sentence them to death by firing squad. 3 months after the execution, he shot himself in the head in his office at the Ministry of National Defense, leaving a note stating that he couldn't live with the guilt anymore. Here in my country, we all know now that this was not our revolution. It was actually orchestrated from the outside by those globalist Illuminati who pushed Soros into Romania right as the revolution ended. They pushed all of these horrors, the child trafficking, the sex trafficking, Epstein horrors, etc. We have been cursed with corrupt, treacherous leaders ever since. We never wanted to join the EU. We never wanted American military bases on our soil, and we never wanted our money sent to Ukraine. In 2024, 35 years after the revolution, we finally had a chance for an amazing sovereign leader, Călin Georgescu, and he won the elections with an outstanding number of votes, but these globalist lefties censored the results and declared them null. I remember that. So here we are, led by illegitimate clowns. I don't know whether Erika really helped with child trafficking or not, but I definitely want to know the truth. You are my favorite podcaster ever. I've been watching you since long before Charlie was shot. I used to watch both you and Charlie and admire your intelligence and the purity of your hearts. I was completely devastated when he got shot. I watched his execution online. I will never unsee it. I cried like my own brother had died. I cried for weeks. I mourned him for months. And I was even upset with God for allowing such a horrid, evil event to happen to such a dear Christian. I hope and pray that God helps you uncover the truth. I hope we'll eventually find out who killed Charlie Kirk, that sweet angel of a human being. And I am totally invested in finding out who Erika really is. Truth shall always prevail. Charlie was so innocent, he never imagined what Trump would be capable of doing. And here we are, Operation Epic Fury. Old men, old farts who've lived their lives are sending young men to die for nothing in a stupid war. Lord have mercy. Please, Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, don't leave us in the hands of these devils. And please take care of Charlie in heaven. Keep up the good work, Candace. My mom refers to you as that gorgeous Black journalist girl. She doesn't know your name and she doesn't speak English. That is very, very sweet of you. And to your mother as well. And I don't know any Romanian words other than da. That's it. That's all I got. But you are correct. I do know what happened there. And that's the point I was making yesterday is I'm not arguing for communism or crony capitalism. I'm saying it's the same people at the top and they did to Romania what they've done to many countries in the East. It's just a fact. I mean, we were behind the Yugoslav wars, what happened in Bosnia. And it's just, you take a look at the picture and it's always the same. We're sending over protesters. They're honestly probably some of these CIA Mormon missions, because I know Tyler went to Russia for 2 years, and someone in Russia told me that he got kicked out for like spying, but I don't know if it's true, whether he was using a different name. It's a narrative that I am prodding, but he did do his mission for 2 years in Russia. He's fluent in Russian. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of the same story. I'm sick that I look up to, like Tucker Carlson, who is just, I mean, he is really stepping up right now. Please keep him in your prayers. Okay, a couple more comments before we jump off air. Amy loves music, writes Candace. I know that you are doing this out of love for a friend and brother. I am sorry.
I can't take any more of that.
I literally,
we will, yeah. So that's where we're at. We got a couple of chats, and then we will go to I got a few more things to say. I'm sure Lisa does as well. Ashley 33 says, it makes me sad that people are actually believing anything Candace says. It's so disheartening. Thank you guys for all you do. I agree. I think that's the biggest tragedy in all of this. Biggest tragedy in all of this. Piper, I see you backstage. If you want to throw up any comments, feel free to do so. Her tactic is info overload. We called that. We talked about that the other day. Candy EI spews lies left and right, and her cult follows it like a cat watching a laser light. I was saying that early on. It's just like over here, over here, over here, over here. Oh, look over here, look over here, look over here. Exactly right. Couldn't agree more with any of those statements right there. So kind of summarize for us. Summarize your thoughts.
I think one of the last things I wanted to say was she was talking about how Erika's mid-20s here. Like, she's old enough to know better at this point. Okay, Candace, do you want to tell us why in 2016 you were telling people how to illegally lie to their doctors to get Adderall? Which is a federal offense, by the way. That's what you were doing when you were much older than she was at that point that you're showing those things. She did. I mean, Candace has had terrible decision making much more recently in her life than Erika did. But that's it's perfectly fine when she does it. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, again, I haven't seen anything that indicates why I should hold Erika or her family in lower regard. Like, there's just nothing there. I don't know what to say. Like, it's just all a bunch of made up nonsense. It's all just gossip girl nastiness. That's all I ever see through all of this. And, it's amazing to sit and watch this and to think that people are coming away with anything other than, Erika's a great wife. Like, I don't know. Speaking of which, I did want to show you this. I'm going to share this tab right here and show this to you. Let's talk about what old Candace was doing not too long ago. This is kind of a funny, but let's go back here.
Today we're discussing public perception. Hurry up, video ho.
I played this not too long ago. Somebody shared this animation with me, and then I went and found the actual rap video footage that Candace was in.
Today we're discussing public perception. Hurry up, video ho, Candace. You're an ex-video ho who danced in rap videos. Excuse me, that's a baseless claim. But if all else fails, cry victim and blame the Jews. Talk about the website you made called Social Autopsy where you doxed innocent children. Today we're discussing public.
So could you imagine what Candace would be saying if we actually had a situation where Erika Kirk was in a rap video and has been associated with some of the other activities and things that Candace has been involved with? I mean, Candace definitely has a much more checkered past than anything she's going to find with Erika.
Apparently, like trying to be on The Amazing Race and making an inappropriate joke with your boyfriend at the time, like, which really, again, wasn't even that inappropriate. It was, I mean, this is what, 2014? That's pretty standard for 2014. I'm just, again, I'm tired of these, like, religious Pharisee legalistic people that are holding her to this crazy standard of perfection. You're literally never supposed to make a mistake. Oh, Erika sinned. She sinned. So, like, shame on you. And I'm just like, you guys clearly do not know the gospel. The gospel is literally God using the most broken, depraved human beings for his glory, people who have done absolutely horrific things. Because, last time I checked, the only perfect human to ever walk this earth was literally Jesus Christ himself. So I'm just tired of all of this, again, like the Pharisee mentality, the legalism, the overly religious. These are the Christians that we all talk about, like when we go to church, and these people who are constantly like looking down on you and like, how could you do this? And how did you do that? And like holding you accountable for all of this stuff that we know that Jesus has already forgiven you for, right? Not saying that you shouldn't repent and like truly turn from those things. You need to have a true lifestyle change, of course. It looks to me as if Erika has applied a true lifestyle change, though. And so that's where I'm like, why are we trying to hold her to her 25-year-old self? Are people never allowed to grow or mature or change their mind or anything?
It's beyond that. We're going back to her great-great-grandfathers and great-great-grandmothers and her more far and far. I mean, it is, look, if we just came upon this and nobody had seen any of this stuff and it was just thrust upon, like everybody would sit back and say, this is the most ridiculous and stupid thing ever. It requires a cult mentality already bred into this to even take any of this stuff seriously. If you're taking this seriously, you are a dolt. I don't know what else to say. Like, you are gullible, you're dumb, you've abandoned all reason and logic. It's insanity. It really is insanity. And
it's funny because if you look at their interactions with each other, which I see a lot more of it on TikTok than I do on X, but when you go over there, they're posting all of their recaps of Candace's episode videos, and you look at the comments and they're literally saying to each other, I'm so bored. This is so boring. Is she ever going to get there? Oh my gosh. Like, they're getting annoyed as well, which is just hilarious. And then they're literally telling each other, you have to trust the process. Like, she's got to build it brick by brick. And like, they're literally trying to encourage each other to hang in there and stay with this madness because it's so bad.
Yeah, I'm just going back to her. I'm just, since you're bringing that up, I just want to look at her comment real quick while we're talking about all this. But yeah, I mean, this stuff it's ridiculous. And I hope that people are starting to wake up. I think they are. I hope they are. We'll see. Yeah, this is a great question. Wonder why she stopped talking about Mitch and why the military hasn't admitted to being involved. I also wonder why we've stopped talking about the French, why we've stopped talking about the Egyptian planes, why we've stopped talking about people in maroon shirts, the U.S. military in general. Like, we've abandoned, she has told us time and time again, that's it. We've solved it. We've got it fixed. And by the way, her viewers do the exact same thing. All of her followers, like, she's onto it. She solved it. I've seen that multiple times. She solved it. No. And then a week later, she's on to something else because she knows it's dumb. And she's going to continue to grift until
she's too busy blaming Bibi and Israel for 9/11. Don't you know? Oh my Lord.
Yeah. I don't know, folks. All right. I think with that, we're going to wrap it up. Number one, Lisa, thank you for jumping on here. I appreciate it. You made this so much more bearable. I can't thank you enough. You made this all happen. Folks over in the comments, we appreciate you. We appreciate all you guys watching. One thing I did want to talk about. I mentioned it a little bit yesterday. Some more things came up. And I appreciate the people that have been following us for a long time. Look, as we have more guests on, whether it's Lisa, whether it's the eclectic journalist, whether it's Ashton Forbes, whether it's Dana, it doesn't matter. They're going to get things wrong. I'm going to get things wrong. And part of this is why I like doing these lives. If I wanted to have this it'd be real easy to do these types of things, whether it's with any of these other guests or whatever else, and pre-tape them. And this is why most people do this, right? We can pre-tape them, then I can go through, and when I hear something that I disagree with or I think is factually wrong, I can take that out. People are going to say things that they're just wrong about. I don't think that there's anyone on my show ever that has just flat out lied. All right. I've definitely heard things in real time where I think people are just factually wrong. That is going to happen. I've said things that are factually wrong. That's why I do these lives, so that you guys can participate. So again, just understand that. What bothers me a little bit is the lack of recognition about that. That's why these live shows exist, and they're a little bit more chaotic. And if you want a production, I can give you a production. I can do all these things pre-taped. I hate that, right? For a lot of different reasons. It's inauthentic. So things are going to be wrong. But when people start accusing people of being an op, look, anyone that's coming on my show, I've done enough research. I don't know if they're going to be 100% factually correct on everything every single time, but I've done enough research to know that I believe that this person is being sincere, that they're honest. And that's really all we can ask for. We're going to get people on the show that we disagree with. There's going to be people on the show that I can't confirm everything they're saying. Ashton Forbes is a great example of that. I love that show. That was a great show. It was fun. We don't know if that video's 100% real. I will happily have on other people that have claimed that that video is faked, and even Ashton Forbes knows that. I got no problem having those people on. I would like those discussions. So people are just going to get things wrong. It is what it is, and that's why we do these lives, so that you guys can jump in the conversation. And you know, even today we had some real-time fact checking. I love that. I want you to participate in this, and that's why we do these lives. So I just want to put that out there. It's not because Gary's getting tricked or whatever else. Trust me, some of the things that are said on the show, I disagree with. I 100%
Do
believe.
they not think that you have a brain of your own to figure these things out?
And the other thing I want to keep in perspective, it's, and I said it today in a post, it's a 1% problem. There's always like this 1% or a couple of people, and these are good-hearted, good-intentioned people. I'm not calling you out or busting your chops, and there's a reason I'm not using any usernames or anything else. Just know that's how discourse works, and that's how it should work. And we should have people on that we disagree with. And I want to expose you to people. And there's going to be people that we get on that, like, for instance, I don't even know what Dana's politics on, and this comment isn't directed at Dana or anything else. I don't know what Dana's politics are. I don't care. And we had a conversation a little bit about that before the show. Of like, I don't care what your politics are. I don't care if I disagree with you on 90% of the stuff. What we're talking about is this. Looks like you've done some serious research in this. And then people will be in the comments saying, oh, you don't really know her, this person, what she believes. I don't care. That's not what we're talking about. You know, maybe if Lisa and I got into a theological discussion, we find some areas where we diverge in beliefs when it comes to theology. I don't know. If I'm a Protestant and I have a Catholic on, are some people in the comments going to freak out and be like, oh, why are you having this Catholic on? Like, hopefully we're not those people. Right. And I want to make sure that you guys are disciplined enough to be able to expose yourself to, you know, things you just don't disagree with. You know, that's how you challenge the structural integrity of your worldview. And if you just surround yourself with people that you just put yourself in an echo chamber, you never learn anything. And look, if we're honest with ourselves, we've all had conversations with people or are exposed to new ideas where we've completely changed and realized, like, hey, I was wrong. And most of us that are Christians, by the way, should have experienced something similar. We don't accept things at face value. But again, we need to expose ourselves to differing views. It's just as simple as that. And hopefully you guys understand that.
Speaking of people who disagree, did Zach ever take you up on coming on?
To Zach's credit, he responded, and he was busy that day. And I never followed up with him. So, you know, not to say one thing or the other about Zach, but he seemed amenable to it. I sent him a text. We exchanged phone numbers. I sent him a text, and we haven't talked since. So that's where we're at.
He got called out in real time by Alex Clark today, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, exactly. All right, folks. Well, thank you so much. Thank you again, Lisa, for coming on. Folks, we appreciate you. And until next time, and am I going to do a live stream tomorrow? I'll let you know tomorrow. We'll see.
Thank you for having me on. Have a good night, guys.
You don't go anywhere, Lisa. But until next time, stay armed, stay ready. We'll talk.